Good evening, everyone, and well, look at Karen trying to be all small. What do we got tonight? This is SciFi Vision Presents Fandom Access, Wayward 5 and 6, Invasion 3, Season 3, Episode 8, and you guys are going to talk about that show that you hate, The Last Frontier.
Don't you love when I talk about a show I don't like?
You know, it's so funny because Jamie's like, "Oh, you guys should watch the show. I think you really like it. It's really, really good." And then you start watching it, and you're texting nothing but bad things, and I'm going, "Well, I sure as hell ain't gonna watch this." But it's actually funny. I'd already decided I wasn't gonna watch it because, like I said, I watched the trailer, and I was like, "It's a TV version of Con Air." Don't get me wrong, loved Con Air, but
I wasn't going to watch it because I just wasn't going to watch it. And then Jamie started saying, it's really good. I want to talk about it. It's a good mystery. I mean, I wasn't going to watch it because it's it's just a police chase after some escape. Con Air in Alaska. And it's just not the kind of show that I watch, right? But Jamie was really into it. Now she has seen, I think, all of it because she had to do some press interviews. And I know there are shows that get better after the first episode. We'll talk about it later, but she likes it better than I do, but that makes for good conversation sometimes, right? Or makes for entertainment sometimes.
It makes for entertaining conversation. How about that?
Yeah.
But now we're going to talk about Invasion, which
Jamie asked us to jump in here on Invasion.
Not a lot to talk about in this episode, really.
No, I mean it's a whole almost an entire hour of Mitski, right? Which I love her. She's a great character. It's great to see her have a whole episode, but she rarely encounters other humans. There's not a ton of dialogue. It's very kind of interior, right? And I think we might have a short-ish conversation about it. But maybe I have some theories and speculation. We both do, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good episode. I don't remember. I love the episode. I thought it was really good. Just for our purposes, it's gonna. I mean, I think our conversation is gonna hinge mostly on speculation and thoughts. However, one thing I did notice, I hadn't really paid much attention to Carmichael in the previous episodes that he was in. But in this episode, when he's talking to Mitski, I'm looking at the guy and I'm like, he looks so familiar. I'm like, I cannot place that guy. Finally, I figured it out. That is the actor that played Topher on Dollhouse. He was the tech nerd. Yep.
So when his name is Carmichael, I'm like, oh, is he this guy?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
But no, he's not.
Well, no.
Right?
No, Carmichael's not in the picture. Carmichael was part of the group, but he wasn't in this picture. But
in this, I'm like, is this guy? And I'm like, oh, then I had to go back and look at this picture. I'm like, no, that's not Carmichael. I know Carmichael's one of the originals, right? Like these are Carol Ann was here. I'm circling that you could see it, was killed. These are some of the originals. Carmichael was there, but is not in that picture. So he was Topher on Dollhouse. That's where he's from.
Yeah. I knew he looked familiar.
Yeah.
That was my That was my what the nothing. That was my big excitement for the episode. Because I mean it was, and I'll tell you what, this was one of those episodes that you had to pay attention to because 90% of it had subtitles.
Well, Mitski speaks a lot of Japanese. When she speaks to her, talks out loud to herself, and when she speaks to the alien, she often is speaking Japanese, right? And so that's subtitled. And if you watch it with closed captioning, and then there's also a subtitle, you sometimes see the same text at the top and the bottom of your television screen. So this is all about how she has taken the bomb, right? She's taken the shard bomb and she's going to go blow the thing up by herself, which I mean, we didn't really talk about the end of last week about the wisdom of that plan, but I guess if you had a bomb, who would you trust to get it to the mothership, Mitski or Nikhil, and whoever?
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely Mitski, because the aliens trust her.
Yeah, right. And she can talk to them and stuff. So she's in this forest, which I think this is shot in Canada. I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure they're shooting almost this whole season in Canada, if not all of it. So she goes roaming around the dead zone by herself, trying to get to the mothership and like blow it up with the shard bomb. It's funny because at the end of, like, I had thought that Nikhil, I don't know if I have a picture of this, but I had thought that Nikhil and Anisha were going to build maybe more than one, actually not even shard bombs anymore. They're going to build like neural stroke bombs, right?
Right.
And I thought their plan requires 2 of those bombs, right? There was some discussion about like, we hit it once, but we got to hit it twice, whatever. Meanwhile, Mitski's like, no, I'm going to grab the shard bomb. I'm just going to run inside the hive and blow it. And she's got this other plan. Whatever. She's very smart. I get it. She could probably make it work. But she's gone off by herself. And as we saw at the end of last week, she runs into the alien. And a lot of this episode is her. Where's the other picture of it? She's like, oh, that's not the good picture. She's going to follow it around is like her plan, right? Like, she's going to follow it back to the mothership, and they fall in a cave together. Well, she falls into a cave, right? And it like starts kind of yelling at her, like it tries to use the alien mind meld on her, right? Isn't that what happens, I think?
Yeah, and she starts getting a headache.
It's going to like force her, like, you know how it like, so I think it's using like, what does she call it? The alien voice, right? Like, you know how it like made everybody kill each other at Outpost 17? I don't know if it's going to make her kill herself or drive herself insane or whatever. It doesn't work on her. I think it doesn't work because of the neural dampener on her neck, right? Or doesn't work on her because she like is so closely tied to them from her past.
You know, I got to say, I'm actually not sure why it's not working, because the neural dampener is supposed to make it so she can't communicate with the aliens the way she was.
Well, so she wouldn't hear the voices like in her head, right?
In her head, right? Yeah. So I'm not really entirely sure if the dampener has anything to do with it not working on it. It could be, but I'm not entirely sure.
Because there's a version of last week's episode, which we didn't write, where that, like, could it have happened that, you know, where she's unaffected by the voice last week, and someone says, why isn't she affected? And she says, maybe because I'm a fucking alien.
Fucking alien, yeah. That was great.
But, like, there could have been a version of that where Nikhil says, holy cow, it's the neural dampener. If I could build them for all of us, we'd be immune to the alien voice and we could like go on our mission, right? But that doesn't happen. There's also part of this where she says to the alien, oh, it's a good thing I speak your language, but like she understands it's clicking, but she replies to it, and it speaks Japanese, right? Like I guess it reads our minds or whatever. Like she understands the language, but she doesn't speak the language, right? It's not like Alien Earth where Wendy in Alien Earth goes, hoo, hoo, hoo. She like, hoo, and like the clicking comes out of her mouth, right? Like, Mitski doesn't speak. She understands, but doesn't speak alien. But it seems to understand her. Right? Like, I'm not really sure what's going on in all of this with her able to communicate with them. And it's very different from the way Luke and Casper communicate, which is not really, they don't speak the language. They can just be like, stop with their brain, right? I don't know. I don't know if I'm asking you a question. I guess I'm just yammering. Sorry.
I thought you were making a statement. I thought you were just kind of working through it.
I kind of am. I mean, what do you think about it?
I don't know, because they haven't really specifically said one way or the other. So I mean, it's definitely an interesting thought. You know,
yeah.
It's a good question. I just don't know the answer.
I don't either. And I don't know if anybody who's watching wants to put anything in the comments. has an idea about it, but I mean, maybe nobody has an idea about it, right? So, okay, here's my next set of questions. So Mitski like finds the alien and she's following it around. That's not really a good shot, but she's going to follow it around. She's got this idea that she can follow it back to the ship. And I'm going to put a background on here because do you see how we can see the little edge of ourselves? It doesn't really work. Okay, whatever. Here's my chest, everyone, right here. So she's following it, and it's like picking giant blueberry-looking fruits, right? And it's eating fruit, these weird plants that it's growing.
It's it's basically terraforming that the what do they call it, the dead zone?
Yeah.
I mean, they're essentially terraforming the dead zone. That's why it's the dead zone, because they're terraforming it for them to survive. Because Mitski realizes they're not here to wipe us out; they're just here to survive. And I feel like it's kind of like he said, she said type of thing, where because of the shuttle crashing into them, they think we attack them. But then that doesn't make it right for them to come to our planet and attack us because they don't understand. And it's funny because they seem highly more advanced than humans.
Yeah.
So you'd think that their first instinct would have been to communicate rather than, just start sending out drones to terraform and kill anybody that gets in their way.
Yeah, I mean, long before the mothership came down and created this like big dead zone in like all of season 1, in particular, and also 2, there was like the part of the story where entire parts of the planet became uninhabitable because the air was turning into like ammonia, right? Right? Remember the WDC president TV saying like, we only have 45% of our land left and we won't even be able to live here within like 2 months or whatever. And they're turning the air to ammonia. And I don't have a picture of it, but we see that they're growing like, we saw it in the Amazon. There are plants growing that are not normal earth plants that we're familiar with, right? And so it picks this kind of plum, looks like a giant plum, and it like eats a little bit. It has those long like hair tentacle-y things, and it's eating it, which makes sense why later Carmichael's crowd calls them the gardeners, this version of it. So we have now the drones, the hunter killers, and this they're calling the gardeners. Because I guess that's its job, is go and grow these little plants, these big bushes or whatever. That was a big, going back to your comments, I just have so many thoughts about what's going on here, because as you said, the first thing they did was sent down the drones to kill tons of people. And then the hunter killers came and killed tons more people. This doesn't appear to be a species that would like to have a little piece of land to call their own. Like they want our planet, right? Like they started to like kill millions of people. There's just not, as this episode unfolds, there seems to be a sort of like bond, for instance, between Mitski and this alien. We'll talk about that. And I felt like by the end of this episode, are we supposed to think maybe the aliens aren't that bad? Maybe their purpose is not bad here. And I go back to the previous 2 seasons where they just killed tons of people indiscriminately.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's why it's kind of confusing, because you have these aliens who what's the terrorist group there?
Infinitas.
They call them the gardeners.
Yeah.
Have you seen the gardener alien?
Yeah.
I gotta say, it was pretty cool too when this her alien was hurt and they turned like green to heal them, the other one.
That's near the end of the episode. That was pretty cool. Yeah. And so you're actually referencing the part of the episode where she follows it into the cave. I mentioned this. It starts like using alien voice, and she's like, cut it out. It won't work. You're going to collapse the roof on top of us both. And boom, they both get and that's how her alien friend is injured. I thought it was really kind of hilarious when she's like, I'll give you a boost. And the alien like stands on her shoulders to like climb out the hole in the ceiling.
And then she slips from the alien and falls a little bit. And the alien just continues out. And she's like, so much for teamwork.
Yeah. Yeah. But it does come back. It honors as part of the deal, and it comes back. And now they're on there. Most of the episode is the two of them like trudging through the forest together, right?
Yeah, a good part of it is.
It was kind of slow, right?
Yeah, until she comes upon Infinitas, which you knew when they threw her in the pit that the aliens weren't going to attack her. So I was like, this is going to be interesting to see their reaction to this.
Well, she came across that crashed down plane, right? That jet. So do you think Infinitas shot that jet down, or the aliens, or it? Because
that's an excellent question.
Because 2 episodes ago, when our team came in on helicopters, there was like I just deleted the picture of it, but I remember that weird volcano thing that came up and shot like a light up and brought down the helicopters. Like that could have happened.
It was probably the aliens. I don't think Infinitas has that type of firepower
to take down a jet, like looks like kind of a fighter jet, right?
Yeah,
it's much faster moving. So I guess the aliens took it down. And you think that Mitski's going to get the oxygen. So a big part is that she's lost her oxygen, right? But she's going to like go on. I mean, to me, I thought in this episode, Mitski was willing to sacrifice her life to bring down the mothership, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's exactly her plan.
So when she found that jet, there was oxygen, and it was going to be like, a moment to help her out. And then she finds these Infinitas. I don't have a picture of, this is Carmichael, and his second in command is Conrad, the guy, the black guy who originally captured her. His second man is named Conrad. So tell me your thoughts about this band of Infinitas guys here living up in the dead zone.
They're just believers, like, Carmichael's one of the originals,
He is.
And I feel like he's the only original member there, because based on what the other guy said.
Yeah.
Conrad. And they're just, I'm sure that Marlene, what's her name?
Vera/Marilyn.
Vera sent them out there to, I guess, just protect the aliens. I don't know, like the aliens need protecting.
Yeah, right. But they're messed up, right? Like there's a lot of infighting. They don't like this guy Carmichael gets oxygen. Nobody else gets oxygen. Conrad is very like throughout this episode, we see Conrad like kill 2 of his own guys. He eventually like leaves Carmichael. He doesn't rescue Carmichael.
I'm going to put up, hold on. I'm going to put up some of Galactus's comments.
Oh, yeah.
I hadn't thought about this, that maybe the gardeners are just workers or slaves.
So that's possible. You know how like farmer ants have like, there are some ants that go out and like fetch little bits of leaves and bring them back and they grow fungus to feed the babies, but they are just like drones. They're not, right. They're still a queen. They're still like higher level ants in the colony. That's a really good idea.
Yeah. Luncher. Jamie will be with us later. She'll be here in about 10 minutes after we get done with this, because she doesn't
watch Invasion, so she's ready for some other stuff.
I like this from Galactus too. Infinitas are just fools falling for alien grift.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I agree with that.
Yeah. And they have a lot of problems in their like embedded cell here, right? Like Conrad is so I was kind of wondering as I watched this, like, is it the bad air and the ammonia that's getting to them? Is it the alien like mind trick that's getting to them? Is it just like normal humans like under stress are going to fight and like kill each other, which is kind of sad, but these guys are not rising to they're supposedly like working towards a higher reward with our redeemers, and yet they like Carmichael when Mitski has him like trussed up by the neck and he's strangling, right? And then Conrad doesn't save him; he slits his throat. And then later, when Mitski is trapped on the cliff, and that guy who's shooting us, like, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. Like, Conrad shoots him and then tells his men scavenge him. I think scavenge, is that what he says? Like, basically take what he's got.
Take all his shit.
I don't know. I was trying to work through what I thought was up with these guys in terms of why they are like this, and they're not really.
Because, well, I mean, I understand that part of it. The guy couldn't breathe. There's nothing you can do. Basically, put him out of his misery. And then, of course, you're going to grab anything valuable that's on him. It's like they've all been sent to their death, more or less.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if like you had to shoot me and take my stuff, I wish you'd say more than just like scavenge her.
Well, like, yeah, but they're soldiers here.
I know, but like soldiers.
No, listen, I don't disagree, but I mean that guy Conrad is clearly not doesn't have any bedside manner.
No, and I guess I just thought, like, how could this idea that like our redeemers are here, we should be worthy of like going to whatever reward is coming, and yet they're kind of vicious and not really. I don't know. There seems to be a lot of infighting, a lot of jealousy, a lot like Mitski.
They're a terrorist group.
Mitski really drove a wedge in there when she was like, Carmichael, why do you get oxygen and nobody else, right? And he's like, well, I have to have my brains about me, and I have to, right? Well, it was like a hierarchy.
Well, not only that, it doesn't really matter because they're all going to meet again in the afterlife.
I just felt like this is an example of why maybe humanity doesn't deserve to be saved. Like maybe
let's not get started on that conversation.
Back to the day the earth stood still, when the aliens have come to save the earth, not to save humans. Humans are the problem. Humans think that
what was it I kept the Lazarus effect. I kept saying, why do they keep stopping it? Just let the world end, start over.
Yeah. Like maybe the aliens are like, except they want to change the earth. They don't really want to keep it the way it is. But like this, like we think we deserve to live, and these guys are not a good example of why humans should deserve to live, right? And I think by the end of the episode, the aliens prove the exact opposite. When their friend is dying, they save his life.
Right.
So Mitski gets away from them, and there's like another 10 minutes of her following the alien until it's like falling down dead pretty much. And we have that scene where she's like, get up. You can't lay down here. There's its little broken arm there in the middle. See, she's like, you can't lay down here. You're so close. You have to get up. But really, so, I've read some commentary on this episode where there are people who felt like, Mitski really found a kinship with this creature. And I really felt the whole way. She's like, I'm following it to the mothership, so it can't die. We're not friends. I have to follow it to get in the front door to blow its ship up. Right.
That's how I took it.
That's how I took it too. I read a couple of reviews where people were like, oh, this is like a real, moral shift for her, and she's learned something, and she's found a bomb or whatever. It's like, no, really, I think she just wants to follow it to get into the front door. It's really all she cares about, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I think.
Yeah, and she follows his blood all the way, and she she just wants to get in there. It's very late in the game that she maybe has a change of heart, right? So it's at the end where it falls down, and it's dying and almost dead. And, it had said her communication with the alien, for us as the audience, it's very one-sided, right? We never really hear it say anything.
She kind of repeats it.
Yeah.
or responds to it in a way that we understand what it said.
Like when it looks at the mothership and it says home, and she says, oh,
right.
You want the last thing you see to be home. And I'm like, really? You're reading a lot into that, but whatever. And then it says, what do you want? She says it wants help. So it falls down within sight of the ship, and its friends come out, and they're all blue. And so I don't know I thought maybe they're a different, even though they look the same, I was like, maybe they're a different kind, or they have a different job, and that's why they're blue, and it's pink, white, whatever color it is, right? And they come out there. And this is kind of weird because they come out there and Mitski starts like crying, kind of like I thought. What'd you think when they came out here at this moment?
I wasn't 100% sure. Part of me thought they were coming out to help it, and part of me thought they were coming out to kill it.
Me too.
Like, only the strong survive.
Especially when Mitski was like, no, and started crying. And I was like, oh, they're going to like, and then they put all those little tentacly things into it. And I was like, oh, are they like sucking its energy for them to use or whatever? Like and then I'm going back now to, I guess I was influenced by seeing like when Conrad shot that member of his group, and then he says scavenge him, and they all like grab everything he has. I really thought that's what's happening here, was they were like, these guys were going to scavenge the last of the gardener's energy or whatever. But no, they actually all turn white and pink, and they cure it.
Well, first they turn green, and then they turn pink after it's cured.
Yeah.
Healed or whatever.
Yeah, which I wonder, like, I mean, as they cure it and then they cure it and it gets up, they're all the same color. They're all the sort of white, pink, right? I don't know what that was about. I was like, oh, is it going out there and eating the fruit and then bringing back food for the blue guys so they can turn white? Is that how they get energy? But then they seem to bring it back to life. Like, I have no idea. I don't know what happened here. I thought they were really cool looking. I love how they have those little, this is a good picture with those little tentacle-y things shoot. They look like flies kind of, but I don't know what they look like.
So what did you think about when Mitski's behind the rock? She reaches down, realizes she's bleeding, pretty bad. Looks at the bomb. So there's another moment that I'm on the fence about that wasn't clear to me. Did she actually realize she was losing so much blood and passed out and was laying like that, or was it a ploy for her, seeing how they saved the alien, that if she seemed like she was dying, that they would go over and heal her and then take her inside?
Ooh, I don't know.
I know, that's the problem.
I don't know. I and I want to go to Golden Child's comment in a minute. When she looked at the bomb and left it aside, I felt like, did she change her mind and she doesn't want to kill them? Like, is she starting to, I don't know why the aliens are here, but is Mitski starting to understand why they're here and it's not to kill us? Do they not mean to kill us? Are they killing us like by mistake? Do they not get it? Do they not maybe consider us to be the top species on the planet worth saving? Maybe they think the trees are the top species or whatever, right? Like, I don't know. But I feel like maybe she had this moment where she's like, oh, I get it. I don't want to blow them up anymore. I got to get inside there. And I thought maybe she just happened to pass out.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first too, but then my brain started working. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, regardless of how what their intentions were initially or whatever, they're still invading our planet and trying to take over for themselves, regardless of their motivations or intent.
Yeah, I mean, there was a part of me that thought maybe they think they couldn't live with us. And then I was like, oh, no, wait a minute. They sent all these drones to like stab everybody through the trees.
Right. And that's the thing. Yeah. I mean, if you came here and like you said a couple weeks ago, maybe they, like we've said all along, maybe they weren't even coming here and it happened because of the shuttle crashing into them, or vice versa. I don't remember which way it went, but so maybe they just ended up here. Maybe they're going to Mars. Who the hell knows? Or a galaxy far, far away, but they're here now. And it's just like, they're like, okay, well, this is where we are. So we're just going to, take our corner of the world and kill anything that gets in our way, instead of, hey, we just crashed. We can't leave. Can we share the planet?
Yeah. Golden Child's comment. She feels like she's teaching it. That's why it came back and saved her. I like both of those sentences. We skipped over the part where Mitski, like, after walking so long with no oxygen, she's like passing out and dying. And the gardener goes and it disappears and leaves her, and it comes back with one of these like big plums. They look like plums to me. Sorry, that's what I'm calling them. It gets one of its big, weird space fruits and it feeds it to her, gives her a little bit, and now she can breathe. She's like, oh, I can breathe. And right. And now she's like, that problem is solved for the rest of the episode. I had a real thought at that. Did you think anything about it at that moment?
Turnabout's fair play. That was my only thought.
I thought, oh, if humans start eating this, then we could all breathe up here. Like, why doesn't
I hadn't even thought that deep into it. But you're right.
and like, why has Carmichael has been up there studying the gardeners, all this stuff, everything? He's the one who called them the gardeners, and they haven't. Those guys aren't trying it. Those guys haven't. I mean, why would they? You don't really.
Yeah, that's pretty funny actually. They've been studying, and it never occurred to them any of this. That's really actually kind of funny.
But within like 2 minutes of having it placed in her mouth, she's like, oh, I can breathe, and she's up. And I was like, oh, if humans could just start eating this stuff, then we could all breathe ammonia and we could all live together. And then I was like, oh wait, but the hunter killers, they tried to kill us all, like that, right? I keep forgetting about how they like have these vicious like other aliens that I know that you have speculated, like, could they be two separate societies that happen to both arrive here at the same time, right?
I gotta say, after this episode, I'm not. I mean, it's still a plausible theory, but I kind of feel after this episode, as we learn more, that's not the case. I think this is all. I do think that while they aren't intentionally hostile, they are hostile. You know what I mean? Like they sent, the hunter killers and the drones were sent out to terraform, so that they could live, but they have no regard for any of the life that's already on the planet. Now, to be fair, we aren't much different, because how many animals have we killed in our time on this planet, and forests and everything else that we've decimated to make more room for people?
Not just animals. Like the U.S. Army, purposely gave blankets infested with smallpox to Native Americans to try to wipe them out, so they could have their land, right?
Right.
Like some really seriously, and that is not, I mean, do we call that genocide? And that's not the only genocide that the human race.
Exactly. Yeah. But this is also one of those situations where except for Infinitas, for the most part, we get to those points where, we don't like each other, but if you mess with one of us, you mess with the whole planet type of situations.
And that's how you got the WDC. You got a world, that's what it took to get a one world government kind of thing.
Right.
So the first part of Golden Child's comment, she feels like she's teaching it. I mean, I agree. I think Mitski, there were moments where she was trying to teach it, and she's like, why are you trying to kill us? You're trying to kill us. And the alien didn't really seem to understand that, right?
Right.
They don't think they're killing us. They don't get that. I mean, on the one hand, it doesn't get that it's killing us because maybe it doesn't know we can't breathe ammonia. On the other hand, you sent thousands of drones which have no other purpose than to kill people. Right? I'm still really confused about all. I mean, I do think she's teaching it, trying to learn from it, but on a level that belies everything that we saw in season 1 and season 2. Hunter killers also seem nothing but kill, right? They're called hunter killers.
Yeah, well, that's what we call them. I mean,
they're called HKs on the show. The show calls them HKs also, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying.
Humans call them, not what
humans. That's what humans call them. I'm pretty sure that's not what they're called by the aliens themselves.
When you said we, I thought you meant you and me.
No, I meant we as a human race.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we got the rest of the season. We got one more season. I feel like at the end of the day, I could actually see the show ending where we find common ground with them, and we say, here, you can have this little corner of the world, and we get everything else.
You can have the dead zone, and we get the rest of it. Yeah.
Right.
Galactus, like Peacemaker in season 1, we have to kill or be killed, even if they want to save the Earth. This is our Earth. They need to mind their own business.
I don't know if season 1. I don't know if Peacemaker, at least that version of Peacemaker, is the best to be quoting.
Oh my God, Galactus! Have you seen The Day the Earth Stood Still? That's the one where the aliens are like, "Sorry, the Earth is really important. You all people are a problem, and you gotta go." I don't think, but I mean, I hear you. If they want to save the Earth, this is our Earth, right? Or even in like Independence Day, they wanted the Earth for their own purposes, and we had to go. I don't know. I still feel like the aliens maybe didn't want to come here. That the shuttle, the space capsule crash, like caused them to come here. They might have passed us by had that not happened, but now they're here. But they are clearly trying to kill us. Like I just can't put aside the drugs.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. So, do you think the blue gardeners? Now we have two kinds of gardeners. Do you think that they're gonna heal Mitski? Do you think they're gonna take her inside the ship? I mean, I don't even know what's going to happen here, right? Do you have any thoughts on
I
it?
think I think they're going to take her into the ship.
I do too. I mean, she's the only person they can communicate with. She's the only person who's learned their language. She's the only person who understands them. The only person who wants to understand them. I mean, Nikita wants to understand them, but in a different way, right? Who understand how to kill them, right? So, yeah. I mean, there's so many thoughts in my head that I can't even really make a prediction for next week. I mean, I think she'll be taken inside the ship. I mean, is it going to look like this? Not with Casper. I mean, eventually.
I know what you meant.
Yes, but it's going to look like all blue and glowy inside, probably, right? And I mean, much like what Trevante saw in there was also like blue and glowy and very similar to this, right? Like that's what it's like inside.
So
yeah.
We'll find out in the next episode, maybe.
Only 2 more, and then we have to wait like another year and a half. Ugh.
Yeah, but that's what happens with 10-episode seasons. It feels much longer than a 23-episode season. So.
Yep.
And Jamie's here, so she can pop in now, and we'll start talking about Wayward.
Hi, Jamie.
Hello. Oh, hey, we're already. Well, almost. I can fix it. We just got to move Karen up a little bit.
And thanks you guys who watch Invasion for joining us, because I love the show, but we don't have a ton of chatters who watch it. So thanks for coming. And while Jamie's getting herself set up, don't forget everyone to like and subscribe. Please.
Yes. Please subscribe to SciFi Vision. It is appreciated. Hi, everybody. Sorry to have missed y'all, but we have Wayward now. Now, this is episode 5 and 6, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Build and I'm scrolling. What's the second one called? Build and mirror. There we go. Build and mirror.
So, and build is like one of the steps, right? Like one of the 4 steps that the kids go through. I think the third of 4 is there's burrow, build, ascend, whatever, right?
I know ascend's the 4th step. That's the one I remember.
It's burrow.
Yeah, and then there's leap, which is the one they don't tell people about.
Well, leap's not a step.
Well, leap's not a step. Leap is not a step. Not everybody leaps.
On those steps,
yeah.
Well, but yeah. So the first episode is the rebellion, I guess you could call it, and then the second episode
which I'm sorry I accidentally sort of spilled that last week, but was it really a surprise to anyone that there would be a rebellion?
And then the second one's them dumping them all in the woods to I don't know if it's meant to be punishment or what the point is for that, but we'll talk first about the about them all banding together. I'm sorry, what?
You hear some whistling in the background? Is there feedback?
No, there's some stuff
I hear it too, but I didn't hear it until Jamie came on.
Yeah, it's probably something that in my house that isn't me, so I can't. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah. So what was I gonna? Okay. So I feel like these episodes are kind of connected in the sense. Yeah, it's the aliens, regular like this. In the sense that, like, in the first episode, they all work together, and that's why they're able to overpower the ones that run the place. And if they had continued that, especially into the second episode, they could have, I don't know, more got where they needed to go, because I feel like that the second episode, obviously they were trying to make them go against each other. That's why they said one of them could leave. But the first episode, they actually did work together, which is, I think, what helped them. But I was kind of surprised that they all jumped. I mean, I know they all want to escape, but they had to kind of band together, and it worked. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, so are we following scene by scene here, or are we just going to talk in clumps?
Well,
do somewhat. You don't got to go super close. Just
general thoughts.
Yeah, just
well,
kind of general things that happen. I mean, we have the stuff with. It's hard to go back and forth, but the stuff with May investigating what really happened. Because
you mean Alex?
Let's take the A story and the B story. Let's cover whatever. Jamie, you have this queued up chronologically, right? So that's how we'll cover it.
Yeah, I was kind of the beginning thing is the only thing we find out is about Daniel's family, which really isn't that important. And that Layla doesn't want Rory to escape with them. That's pretty much the only stuff at the beginning, which isn't really super important. The beginning of the part that's important is with May investigating. Like I said,
you mean Alex?
Or sorry, yes, Alex. May is the performer's name. Alex investigating the school more because he contacts the guy on this website.
Mark McKinney.
Yeah, is that who it is? I was gonna say I don't know who it is, but he had a kid that went to the school that disappeared, and he's kind of a conspiracy guy and thinks that they've been not only hiding the truth, but also potentially killing kids and killing adults.
Here, I have a question.
Really, in his defense, there is an actual conspiracy.
There is.
Well, hold on. Here's my question though: are you a conspiracy theorist if you're right?
Well, not all of it was right. I mean, he thought that they were like recruiting them for the CIA. So
listen, that part of it. Okay, he was wrong for that part of it, but he wasn't wrong about everything else.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
And you know what? We don't know. Well, hold on. We don't know that he's wrong about the CIA part because we have no idea what her end game is.
I'm guessing that since they're all in the town, they're not. That's the only reason I'm saying
not. They're not all in the town, though. The guidance counselor's in Canada.
Okay, most of them.
Laura left and went to Detroit. So
I still like if they were recruiting them.
That's my whole thing about this show is I want to know to what end, or if she just gets her jollies from brainwashing kids.
No, you could be right with that. So we have, while she's investigating that, we have the one part where the kids are outside. I want to say singing Kumbaya. They weren't. But
it's actually funny. I was waiting for them to break into a rendition of Kumbaya after they got done singing the In the Pines.
Yeah, that was mostly Tony. That was all Tony Collette singing while that guy played. And that makes the music creepy the way they did it. But yeah, they have kind of that event outside. And that's why I said that part really, I mean, we don't really get anything out of it unless you guys took something from it that I missed.
No, it's just Kumbaya session.
Yeah, it's just them. The main thing is, like I said, he's going to investigate and talk to that guy. And wait, let's see. Okay, that's just, I think, when he's leaving. Okay, so then we have the group therapy, which Evelyn has let Rabbit run. which, look, I don't think it was Rabbit's fault that what happened. I think that maybe they would have been a little more scared to attack Evelyn. I'm not sure, but yeah, I guess the whole thing went to shit basically because she let them all. So yeah, maybe it was partially her fault. She let them all pick on Layla and encouraged them all to pick on Layla, and then Abby was kind of like no and didn't like it, and yeah, they just got so amped up that was why they eventually attacked.
I mean,
I don't know. What do you guys think about this scene?
I think nobody employed at Tall Pines is qualified to do anything that they're doing inside there. And I've noticed that Evelyn likes to say things like, well, I treated you. I treated your pain. I have a treatment. Well, we're not aware of her having any actual qualification. She's just a kook, right? But for Rabbit to be in charge of this very intense emotional, isn't she just like a security officer, and she's placed in charge of this like highly charged emotional, and she's outnumbered like 12-1, right? It was just like, was there any way she could not fail? And I almost wondered, was that Evelyn's intention was for her to fail?
I kind of wondered that too, but like I said, I think that the same thing could have happened with Evelyn. I mean, obviously that many kids could have overpowered her. I think the difference is the kids are scared of Evelyn to some extent. I don't think they would have done that to her. Not that it was because of Rabbit. It's just, I think they're more scared of her.
I mean, and granted, they see Rabbit not as a therapist, but as okay, so I'm going to tell a story that is sort of unrelated, but kind of related. So I used to be a director of a big festival, and we had a big beer garden, and the person who ran it before me had all these like security guards who were armed with guns. They had like security guard uniforms, not cops, and they were armed, right? Mm-hmm. And there were all these people drinking and a lot of money being spent on beer. And when I started working there, I said, let's get rid of them. Let's get guys in like khaki pants and polo shirts who look like bouncers, because drunk people respond to a bouncer. I don't think I just don't think that people I think that having I just felt like having a different kind of presence was like going to be more conducive to having a good time. And I guess the analogy I'm making is like when you put a more aggressive presence inside this room, inside the beer garden, like you're killing our time. And when you put Rabbit inside this room, are you like totally changing the dynamic than if you had a so-called therapist in there versus their jailer in there with them?
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Like I said, though, I think the whole thing kind of escalated also, though, because Rabbit, well, I mean, look, they always do egg them on. I'm not saying they don't, but I mean, if it hadn't been them going after Layla, I don't know that it would have escalated.
Lila. You're reading a recap and it spelled Layla, but they always pronounce it Lila on the show.
Okay, fine, Lila.
And I know you watched it like maybe a couple weeks ago. I just watched it today, so I've noticed that they call her Lila.
Okay, Lila. Anyway, she kind of, I mean, they start picking on her, and she doesn't sit and take it like the other kids do. And I think that is part of, I'm just saying like why it escalated, because it was her. And I mean, obviously, that's the story, but I mean, she pushes it, and it was because her and Abby feed off of each other and do not like them picking on the other person. So they've kind of got like somebody in their corner where the other kids don't. And I think that whenever I forget exactly what was said, but Abby said something that was like for Lila, that like stuck up for her, and you could tell that Rabbit didn't like that, because they don't want them to have, like, they're supposed to be, knocking them down, and they don't need somebody in there, liking them. Even it kind of happened though, the same thing before with Abby and Rory a little bit. Like they expect them to be completely on their own and not have anybody in their corner. And I think that's kind of why maybe it got out of hand a little bit, if that makes sense. I don't know if what I said made sense the way I meant it to, but
yeah, they want the kids to be completely isolated from each other. They want them to rat on each other. They want them to not like each other. They don't want these kids to like each other, because then it's easier to break people down. If you have a support system it's not going to work as good.
Yeah, and that's why she started on the cocaine with Lila in order to piss Abby off and get Abby upset because they're trying to break them up. But at this instance, it didn't
and I think too. I think what she was trying to do there.
Go ahead. What happened? Did we lose Karen? No.
I'm sorry. I interrupted you. I was getting some lag. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Can now. For
can
a while.
You hear me?
Yeah, we can now.
I was getting some lag. I thought I didn't mean to talk over you. I thought you had stopped, and then it was lag. So I apologize if I was talking at the same time.
Fine.
Yeah, I think that Rabbit was trying to say, look, Abby, Lila doesn't tell you everything like you think she does, to try to put a wedge in there. And I agree, AJ, that it's easier to break them down psychologically if they're isolated and alone. And I think Evelyn wants them to see her as their only friend and savior. I also think it's easier to control these kids if they don't work together, right? Which we're going to see later in this episode. As you pointed out, when they work together, they're powerful, and they're understaffed, they're underskilled, they're underpaid, they're not maybe competent, and isolating these kids is key to the control, probably. And it's probably key to whatever crackpot therapy Evelyn thinks she's pushing here.
Yeah.
I mean, by the end of these 2 episodes, it's really kind of very...
Whoop, you froze again there. I think she...
Oh, I got to freeze.
Yeah, you are kind of lagging and then you freeze. Yeah, I mean, we know after what Alex finds out that there is, or at least is in the paper, that there was some kind of cult element and that it ended up with some people dying. So I think that that's kind of, making us as viewers lean towards that there's definitely more going on at the school if she was doing this before as a, regular cult of some kind. Okay, sorry, I was reading what you wrote. But yeah, I mean, the main thing that also starts the whole rebellion is also the fact that Lila tells everybody about Riley, which Abby told her not to say. And look, in this instance, because they were able to get over on the adults, do something get something over on them, I think in this instance it benefited, but I definitely think it's going to come back to bite them later. And it makes you worry about Alex. Although I think by the end of the episode, I think she probably figured out it was Alex, because somebody, I think it's Rabbit, says it's either Laura or Alex. And it's like, why would it be Laura? Like, that just doesn't even make sense.
Well,
so, yeah.
See, how we were saying before, like, you're not sure, we think it only happened because it was with Rabbit. But I got to say, I think it's the Riley factor what makes them riot. I think if Evelyn's in that room, I think they tackle Evelyn.
You do? Okay, see, that's what I was curious if you guys thought that, because I don't know. I feel like they're more scared of Evelyn, and it might have ended a little different. And I also think that Evelyn wouldn't have backed down. Not that Rabbit really backed down. I mean, they tackled her. That isn't really backing down. But yeah, I don't know. I just think they may not have reacted the same if she was in the room. They may not have gotten to that point. I don't know. We will never know.
I think maybe Evelyn would have seen that going bad quicker and called for backup quicker than Rabbit.
Or
it does go to...
I will say she might not have ever let Lila get the words Riley's dead out of her mouth.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say Rabbit does know, though, right? I was trying to remember, like,
of course, Rabbit
knows, yeah.
Rabbit knows. Okay, I thought so, but I couldn't 100% remember.
So I thought it was a really bad thing for Lila to do, and
I agree there.
And I thought when Abby told her, I thought this is not going to end well, right? Like, she's definitely going to blab, and I felt like Lila didn't say it Lila said it to like one up Rabbit. Lila said it to like have power over Rabbit in that moment. And it was selfish, and it was not strategic. It was not long-term thinking. It was rash, and it ends up being devastating. What happens by the end of this episode, what she sets into motion is a disaster, right? And
yeah, and that's why I said temporarily, I think Lila
and she betrays Abby. She betrays Abby in that moment for her own selfish glorification.
Yes, she betrayed Abby, which was not good. I think had the girl whose name I can't remember, if she does not OD, I think the kids are better off in the long run. But because of what happened, it didn't work out. I think
that rebellion could have been successful?
I think the rebellion could have gone much better had that girl not OD'd.
Yeah,
because her shit was going side like while the OD is happening in one room, the kids are setting a fire indoors in the other room. Like who
was in a garbage can? It was okay.
Yeah, it would have been fun. Says the girl who accidentally set a table on fire in the fire hall. But anyway, I know you guys have heard my crazy story before. But yeah, I mean, I think the rebellion would have went better. And I think that they would have gotten a lot further. But I also think the fact that they stopped, even if it was only Lila that stopped, the fact that she's like, no, you have to save her, whether it was her girlfriend or not, or she wasn't her girlfriend, but you know what I mean, whether she liked her or not. I think that proves that these kids aren't as far gone. Like they're not bad kids. Like she still was not willing to like let her die in order to win. Like they could have just been like,
of course,
but they didn't.
Well, of course. I mean, that would make them the bad guys had they let her. Oh well, she did it to herself. Tough shit. We're getting out. You know.
But like if it was
I still think
or somebody, he would have just left them there. I think.
I don't think so.
You don't really? Okay.
No.
I do. I kind of do.
Wait, you think Lila would have left that?
No. I mean, if it was like Daniel saw somebody OD or one of the other kids, like I think they might have.
I don't think Daniel would have. I mean, in the next episode, Daniel's very helpful.
That's true. Maybe I'm trying to think of like a person.
Well, and later in this episode,
I think maybe Stacy would have let the person die.
Stacy was insane. Yeah. Stacy would have.
I mean, later in this episode,
they're not completely gone. They're still
none of them are.
None of them are gone. That's the thing. They're being abused. These kids, none of these kids are bad.
Tall Pines is not part of the justice system. The kids don't get arrested and sent there. They're not right. Tall Pines is sort of a scam for like nervous parents who have money to send their kid there. Like so Rory is a free talker. He's lying a lot of the time, but his parents are mostly neglectful. Like his father's a rock star on the road who ignores him and sent him there for and who's the kid the little curly haired boy, the young boy,
Marty.
Marty, he eventually says like, oh, my parents thought I was depressed and they sent me here. Like nobody's there for any like Evelyn tells the cops and like people keep telling Alex they're junkies. These kids are junkies. There's no drug treatment happening in this facility. Nobody, right? We only really know of one person.
Yeah, can I bring that up? Just bringing that up. I kind of question the fact that these kids, now I know they're not all junkies and they are just saying that. I get your point to that.
Oh, zero of them are junkies.
Yes, they're not junkies, but like there is the whole thing brought up about that like Lila had cocaine, and I'm thinking if these kids
doesn't make her a junkie.
Okay. So it wasn't really hers. That was my other question. Was that her boyfriend?
It was the boyfriend. The boyfriend had the cocaine in the car.
Okay. It was the boyfriend's, but she did snort some in the car because he makes a comment. He's like, hey, that's all I have until next weekend.
Yeah, well, I just question that none of these kids seem to be in withdrawal or anything. That was my whole point of that.
Oh, right, including later in the episode, the girl who ODs, she does say, I've thought of this every single day for the last year, which is a little bit of a...
she was taking cocaine. And
I'm not a counselor. I'm not an addict, a recovering addict. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just meant, I don't think that...
Go ahead.
I'm off cocaine that easy. I don't know because I've never taken cocaine, but yeah. I don't know.
Whatever. I mean, when she says I've thought of it every day, I'm not a recovering addict. I'm not a counselor. Thinking about it every day is a person who, if not an addict, could be addicted, right? Like, but there's nobody here who is any sort of drug treatment program. That like these kids are not like Like, I think Evelyn specializes in like a kid who is like, on a road, but hasn't gotten to the exit ramp, or she represents it for the parents. They think it's an exit ramp on the highway to hell, right? These parents are nervous about where their kid is headed. And I feel like Evelyn plays on parents' fears more than on kids' real needs.
But I do think probably some of these kids that are in here are ones that need, some kind of discipline. We don't know how bad they all are.
I completely disagree. I don't think any of these kids
really. Because
I feel like no, I completely disagree. I feel like some of these kids, some of these kids are the way they are because of this place. The ones that have been there for a while, you know what I mean? Like, do you think? All right, Abby and Lila, do you think either one of them should be there?
No, and really nobody should. They're abusing them there. That's why I said that was the wrong wording that I used.
That's what I'm saying. Like, none of these kids should have been sent to this place. None of these kids are at a point where.
I agree, but
I'm just saying I assume that some of them were more troubled maybe than the ones that were.
Okay, what teenager isn't troubled?
Okay, but I think what I heard Jamie say was these kids need some discipline, and I do think that Lila and Abby needed some type of intervention. They were cutting class, they were failing out of school, they were like getting high all day, every single day. They needed some type of intervention or support. Not Tall Pines. They needed a school counselor who was not from Tall Pines. They needed maybe a social worker. They needed
or how about a parent or how about a parent that gave a shit?
Yes, AJ, I agree with you 100%. We're not, but from what I can tell, look, none of these kids have any development or personality except for Lila and Abby. So we don't really know what's in their background. Lila and Abby definitely were kids that were tying their parents in knots. Lila in particular was probably maybe going to go further down a road that wouldn't be great for her. They needed their parents to not abdicate responsibility to Evelyn, which is definitely what Abby's parents did, right? I'm not saying that all the kids.
No, I'm just saying that I kind of was under the impression that probably some of these kids, and we don't know because you're right, we don't get enough of a personality, but I figured some of the kids that were there maybe were more down that path, as you say, were more troublemakers, were more doing bad things. We don't know is the thing.
Okay, maybe I could see that. I don't know.
I don't mean that, but I just needed, to be somewhere.
Maybe you get arrested for shoplifting, and your parents are like, "You're going to Tall Pines, right?"
Yeah.
We know.
Whatever. Anyway, these kids do not don't even belong in the justice system. These kids are not like criminals. They're not junkies. They're not. But this is the story that Evelyn tells to the community and to Alex to shut Alex up. They're junkies, which the word junkie, it is the 70s. And so it's in 2003, right?
Yeah, that's how
junkie is a
popular.
Yeah. Now addicts, but they're not. None of them are. I mean, if you were a junkie, you'd be like whatever. Anyway, we have digressed, but I think none of these kids are really that. They fall into this sort of Lord of the Flies moment here in this rebellion, but they're teenagers, and there's a lot of anger and hostility that is released in this episode, right?
Yeah.
So what I was going to say before we got on this path,
yes.
In the long run, I think even though, I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. I know what I was going to say.
Sorry.
I think even with the way the rebellion went down, I feel like in the long run, it's going to make these kids closer and be more willing to work together. Come on. Even Oatmeal Beth came walking in looking all weird and shit and then threw candy on the floor. Come on.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of wanted, I'm thinking in the next episode, I wish they had, carried over that the way that they were working together. And I mean, obviously that was their point. That's why they were like, whoever gets there first gets to leave. And like, no one as a viewer actually thought they were going to let somebody leave in a way that would have worked. I think we all knew that wasn't going to be what they expected.
We'll talk about that.
Well, let's finish this episode first. Let's not.
Yeah.
So they inject everybody and they knock them out with their butt juice or whatever. And then we also have Alex like we said, talking to this guy. I'm trying to
look at this shot. Look how small Alex looks and how giant that guy looks in this.
That guy's really tall, isn't he?
That is kind of funny.
Okay, the other thing is the fact that back at the place is that Evelyn, the other guys that work there, I guess you could say, think that they should try to pull the door off or whatever. And she's like, no, they'll open it for us if we just wait. She knows something's going to go wrong, especially whenever Lila is like, we'll open it if you let me and Abby out. Like the other kids were going to be really happy when they found out she said that. I figured everybody would be hearing her after and was going to like flip out, but I guess nobody heard her.
Was it in this episode? Was it in this episode earlier when Evelyn says, "Look how they follow her"? Like Evelyn has noticed.
It's actually that moment there when she says they'll open the door for us, and Duck's like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Did you see the way they follow her?" She's like, "Trust me."
Yeah,
Lila's a natural leader.
She is. But when she said that they'd open it for them, do you think that this is kind of what she meant? Like she knew it would eventually end in chaos, that they would.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Evelyn banked on the fact that something was going to go horribly wrong and they were going to open the door themselves. She didn't know specifically that one of the girls was going to OD, but she knew something was going to happen.
Which
and she knows
don't care if something happens to these kids.
Well, and she knows this was spontaneous. This was on. They have no plan. It's a little. So you ever see a movie in the news where there's like a prison riot? There's an uprising, and it's a big riot, but you're still locked in, and you still can't get out. And eventually, like it dies down. Like these kids have no advantages. Like Lila thinks she has the upper hand because she's 16, not because she actually has a plan or strategy. This was a him. And I think Evelyn sees that these kids don't know what they're doing and that it's it's going to get dark and cold and they're going to get hungry and they're going to tear each other apart maybe. And I agree with AJ. She sees that this is going nowhere eventually and they're going to open the doors because they can't take care of themselves.
Yeah. It was bound to go wrong. Let's see.
Right, they don't have a plan. They have no plan.
Yeah, you're right. They have no plan. So, like we said, this is going on simultaneously. Alex getting more information.
It was a terrible idea. I'm sorry, I'm ranting. This was a terrible idea, right?
Yeah,
I have lots of problems with this cabin scenes.
Yeah, I also am wondering from the beginning, like, why in the world. He said, I mean, like, I understand why he did, but I was thinking from the beginning, saying that he's a journalist is a mistake because this guy's
just say
find out.
I'm okay with the whole faking being. To start out, I'm good with the whole journalist thing.
But when he got into the cabin, he should have maybe said, "Look, hey, I wasn't 100% honest with you. I'm a cop. My wife lived there or whatever." I think if he had come clean at the beginning,
yes, I completely agree. He needed to come clean. And the whole time I'm watching the scene, I'm like, why hasn't he told him the truth yet? I was like, this is because now it looks like Alex is one of them, and it just looks bad. And it was stupid. The whole thing was stupid. It made no sense.
To me, the big red flag was when the guy's like, come to my house, I'll show you more. And it made me think of, so as a woman, or AJ, you're the follower young woman, we always learn, never let them take you to a second location. And I'm like, Alex, why are you going to a second location? Why are you at this guy's house? Like, we all learned from a young age, don't go to a weirdo.
And from scary movie.
I know.
Because he's a cop and has a gun.
I know
he felt safe. But the stupid thing was he put the gun in the bag and handed it to the guy. That was the problem. He should have kept it on his belt or whatever.
How about this for an answer? Because much like the teenagers in this show, everybody thinks they know the answer.
True.
Yep.
I just couldn't believe
AJ.
That's what I couldn't figure out, because he's like, a journalist doesn't have a Beretta. Well, why the hell did you stick it in your bag and hand it to him so he knew that?
Yeah. I mean, this whole
why
scene
did you
with
say,
the whole thing.
I'm sorry, I'm a cop.
Yeah. Even after
Alex never comes clean and says, I'm sorry, I lied, I'm a cop.
Yeah, exactly. Like when he starts tasing him, I'm like, just say I'm on your side. Just be like, I'm investigating it too. Yeah. Like, say something. Instead, he beats the ever-living crap out of the guy, which, why?
Yeah.
Why did Alex feel the need to beat the shit out of the guy?
Yeah.
The guy, listen, I understand why the guy attacked him, because Alex was lying to him. It seemed like Alex could be one of them. The guy's already paranoid as it is, so I get that. The minute it happens, Alex needs to say, hey, I'm on your side. I'm not one of them. I'm investigating them. I didn't know you, so I didn't tell you the truth right away. No, instead, Alex beats the living shit out of the guy. I actually thought Alex was going to beat him to death.
I did too, and I don't understand why he beat him.
It makes no sense. Alex clearly, it's funny. Alex clearly has anger issues.
Yes.
Do you guys remember that whatever happened in Detroit, Alex was accused of excessive force? And that's why Alex lost his job in Detroit, was excessive force. Now, so I was kind of thinking so Alex has never seemed like an excessive force kind of guy. This is not a person that I feel like there's anger just under the surface. Alex doesn't overreact. And to suddenly be like, I'm like, oh, excessive force. But Alex it doesn't play believable to the Alex we know, right? This excessive force reaction to this guy.
Yeah, it was kind of like, why are you beating him up, other than for the plot? Yeah, I agree. I had a lot of problems.
Yeah, it makes no sense whatsoever. And that's the thing. We've been told he was fired for excessive force. We still know nothing about Detroit. We know nothing at all, other than them telling us he was fired for excessive force. That's it.
And we don't know Alex as a person that would react that way. This seemed out of character for Alex to react that way. Right?
No, I mean, Alex's first, his first reaction to Riley was, hey, cool, chill out, let's talk, and then accidentally killed the kid, protecting Laura, he didn't go after Riley. He was, but so it feels like with the character we've been giving so far, it feels like it was just, okay, well, this has to happen so that something else happens, and then something else happens. So we're just going to write it this way, even though it doesn't make any fucking sense.
I feel like this is one instance where we really could have used a flashback. I think that if they had shown us what happened, it would have felt more legitimate.
Yeah, because this character also doesn't. So this character doesn't radiate like a level of anger that could explode to excessive force, and this character for me doesn't also radiate a level of maybe fear that could result in excessive force. Yes, in this moment, Alex feared for his life, but Alex is not a character that I feel like is so afraid that I have to have a gun or I have to I don't know what it is bad.
And I really need to see this excessive force that happened in Detroit, because there is a part of me that feels like Alex was run out of town because he's transgender.
Yeah, I kind of felt like that too. Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know, maybe we're supposed to feel like that, but it feels a little disingenuous because we haven't seen it before. And now, you're right. He was defending himself when he started hitting him, and it was fine. And then it's like it escalated for no reason. It felt like.
Yeah. At no point does he say, I'm a cop, I'm on your side. All these things that could have alleviated the whole thing without the violence. There was no reason whatsoever for it.
Yeah.
It was really weird.
And then to leave your prints everywhere and not report it is also right. You don't report this incident and you've left prints.
Well,
you don't know the guys
didn't expect him to turn up dead, but But I should have thought that through. The other thing though in this scene that's important is the fact that he
Oh,
finds out about Laura, that
her
supposedly
parents
her
disappeared.
family came back to Tall Pines to get her because they loved her and wanted her back, and they disappeared. So this guy is saying that the parents that tried to get him back, that if they caused too much trouble, they disappeared him, whatever, they killed him. And we don't know. I mean, we get an inkling at the end of the next episode. We'll get to that later, but yeah, that's definitely what they're saying happened, or he's saying happened. He thinks that some of the parents they killed, if they were to cause too much trouble, that they potentially killed some of the kids and tried to hide it. And there's a part where he says that there's pictures of his daughter. I don't know where it is, but pictures of his daughter on security cameras that that they put out in order to say, hey, she's alive, when she really wasn't. So yeah, a whole bunch of stuff going on that we get out of that.
Oh, that his daughter disappeared, and like years later, the daughter signed herself into a homeless shelter, but she was over 18, so never reported. But the photograph, he's like, my daughter was only 5 feet tall. This person's much taller. That's not my daughter.
Yes. Yeah. Either way, it was done to cover it up. So yeah,
more set up. It's a setup. Yeah. Cover up.
Yeah.
Cover up. Thank you, Jamie. For the word.
Yeah, sure. Then we also get her.
The frog. The toad.
I did not like this. Laura cracking a little bit and killing the toad, which I think was completely unnecessary. But
hey, Jamie said toad.
Yes, I said toad. Yeah, I mean,
it wasn't necessary.
Yeah, I get it, but they didn't have to like do it the way they did. But anyway,
I think it. I understand why you're saying it's unnecessary, but I think it's. I felt like it was showing us Laura's fractured psyche.
Yeah, I just don't think they had to necessarily show her do it. Is what I'm saying. Not that I didn't think that it was necessary to show she's breaking. I just think they didn't have to make it. I mean, I guess they technically didn't show it, but I don't know. It was just gross.
Yeah, they didn't show it. They showed the toad and then the blood. They didn't really. It was well shot. I mean, I think the creepiness and annoyingness of the constant toad croaking is uneven in this show. And if you want to have the toads be this creep factor, it needed to be a little more intense through every episode. Like they're not. There was in the first episode. In the first episode, someone says there's so many toads, you have to run them over. You can't drive over them. We've seen like 2 toads and we hear them only, but it's possible that maybe Laura hears it in a way others don't. Like we don't really
I kind of wonder that.
Right? Others don't hear it.
I feel like 90% of the time that we've had any toad hearing or interaction, it's always around Laura.
Yeah. I got the opinion that I think the croaking was bringing up the memory of whatever happened, it seemed like.
Which you can't really, and I think Jamie
shoved into the car. It was like after the croaking, so I think they were trying to insinuate that the toads are jogging up a memory she doesn't like, and that's why it pissed her off so bad. But it came off more as I'm annoyed by the sound. Is kind of how it came off. I don't know
if it pissed her off as much as it entranced her, kind of.
Yeah.
To me, right? Like, but I think you can't really get there until you watch the next episode. Also.
Yeah, true.
So,
yeah. So
poor toad.
Yeah, I was just glad they didn't do anything for the dog. I thought they were going to do something to the dog. So
while we're on Laura, I think
by the way, lately everything Jamie tells me to watch lately has animals being murdered.
Sorry. Hey, I do not like that. That is not intentional. That's for sure. Yes,
so while we're on Laura. In the next scene with her, she tells Evelyn to take a hike.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to talk to her anymore and doesn't want her around, which really surprised me.
Yeah.
I was kind of pleasantly surprised that Laura seems to have some sort of backbone and realized that something's not quite right and told Evelyn to kick rocks.
Yeah, and she said
Evelyn threatened Alex.
Well, she said it not in front of Alex. She said it privately. Like I would expect maybe, I was like, does Laura only say that stuff in front of Alex? Is she a liar? No, she said it privately to Evelyn.
Yeah, she basically said, we got rid of Riley. Alex killed him. We made it go away. We can bring it back. But the thing is if she thought it through, which granted it's a TV show, people don't, there would be no reason that Alex could really be blamed for that if it went to like a real court in real life. But again, it's a TV show. Because Alex, it was self-defense. I mean, Alex didn't really do anything wrong. But Laura
and
also
is ultimately an accident.
That too. But
unless he got, to be fair, unless they have a court in Tall Pines and he gets tried there, then he's done.
But to be fair, Laura is, I'm trying to think of the right way to say it. She's not stable, and Evelyn has a hold over her. And I think that, if it had come from somebody other than Evelyn, maybe it wouldn't have been so scary to her. But she's still afraid of Evelyn. I mean,
and loves Evelyn, right? She says that she loves Evelyn also, that Evelyn is like her mother,
like her mother, and we kind of learn more about that later. Okay,
Evelyn's her abusive mother.
Yeah, now the other part of this that we didn't talk about was Daniel, who I can't remember exactly what the story was of what happened, why he got there, but he was taking video while one person was hurting another person, and Rabbit knew it, yet blamed him. I can't remember.
If I can summarize, and AJ, correct me, my understanding is that they don't ever say it, but it seems to have been a high school or possibly a college pledge thing where a boy was forced to drink a lot, and and Alex didn't. He was videotaping it, and the boy died from this. Daniel was didn't like maybe participate, but was videotaping it. It's 2003, maybe not on a phone, maybe an actual camera. I don't know. And the boy died. And
and he didn't do it, but she says you didn't stop.
But Daniel, so Rabbit says, like, you killed that kid. So Daniel says, like, you made the kids afraid of me. I didn't do it, but you told them that I did it, and you made the kids think I'm a killer. And now maybe I am a killer, basically is what he says. Do you understand it that way, Jamie and AJ?
Yeah. I was going to ask you, though, was this story supposed to be the same story that he was telling in the next episode?
No.
Because he said about heat stroke. I wondered if that was connected.
No.
And it was the kid drying
No, it's completely separate.
Okay. But the point is AJ? He did not kill the kid, but he didn't stop it.
Well, nobody killed the kid, but
made them scared of him.
Nobody killed the kid. The kid died. Nobody like killed him. Maybe. But AJ, did you understand this?
He didn't help him.
AJ, did you understand it the same way?
Yes.
AJ.
Yeah,
okay.
and that's why I've where I know a lot of people are like, oh, Daniel's the worst, and he actually I feel like this is Daniel is the perfect example of how messed up this place is. Like, Daniel is involved in a high school prank gone wrong, and they really have they created this version of him that he's like, you know what, I might as well be, this is that, now does Daniel go too far in this scene with what he does to Rabbit? Absolutely. But to be fair, it's kind of brought on, they've broken him in such a way that, again, I don't condone what he did. He went too far with it, but they created the situation.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, you think I'm this person? I might as well be this person.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like any sort of therapy, this made it clear, any sort of therapy that's happening here is like you're a terrible person and you're guilty. And look, he's guilty of some things that he needs to work on, but like there's no like working through the trauma of like your friend died and you're part of it, your friend's death, and like there's a level of trauma he has to deal with, and also his culpability. He's definitely guilty of something. I'm agreeing with AJ, Jamie. Like he he didn't pour the vodka down the kid's throat, but he didn't say anything and make it stop.
Right. But there was more than one kid there, it sounds like, when it happened.
Oh, it was a whole group of them.
So I'm not sure why he's, I guess, the only one his parents could afford the place, maybe. But those things.
Or maybe the others went to jail.
Yeah. But yes, I agree. The idea of their therapy is definitely to break them and make them feel like they're responsible.
It's not therapy. It's
not. It's
control.
not. No, it's not.
It's abuse.
It's therapy. It's not real
therapy.
It's what they're calling therapy.
Therapy.
Yeah. But then because we're talking about guilt, I did kind of question. I wasn't 100% sure in the next episode. Like, I almost wonder if Evelyn kind of pushed Lila into feeling responsible.
No, don't. Let's not go there yet. Can we talk about that in the next episode?
Yeah. We'll wait till we get there. But I'm just saying, like, they're trying to make them, guilty.
It's a guilt. It's definitely, this therapy is definitely about like berating you and degrading you, making you. And Daniel in this moment represents the worst of what can happen. Person who is debased and degraded, and he's like, I might as well be that person. Like,
it's like when they started the fire, they could have technically burnt down the whole place and killed everybody in it. I mean,
which is ironic because in the next scene we see after the kid, after we see Rabbit again, Evelyn is berating Rabbit for letting it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really kind of very sad that Daniel comes to a point where he's like, oh, you made people think that this, I might as well be like this. This is a kid who sees no hope for redemption or a change, or even like being who he was before. Like, I mean, it's a little bit like the way kids are now with, like, you make one mistake, social media will berate you for the rest of your life and ruin a kid's life because they make one mistake. You send one topless photo to your boyfriend and you're the slut of the internet for the rest of your life, right? Like, it doesn't compare at all to what Daniel has done. But I'm not thinking, I'm talking out loud, but the idea of like Daniel has done is bad, but they beat him down that he can see no way out.
And they also,
and so I might as well.
Yeah, and they also told him at the beginning of the episode, basically, like, it doesn't matter whether you were ready to get out or not. You're not leaving because your parents are moving. So you're going to be here.
Oh yeah, well, don't you think that's a lie? Did you think that's a lie? That's a lie.
Absolutely.
Probably.
I don't believe anything Evelyn says.
Yeah. Either way,
she's like, oh, you can leave, but your parents are moved. Like, she definitely, there's a big part of her that wants you to hate your parents.
Yeah, right? She wants them to think their parents abandoned them.
Wants you to think that parents left you here. Yeah.
Because they also don't want them complaining to the parents they're being abused either. So
it's not like they get to talk to the parents.
No, well, but there was that thing about they don't want to talk to their parents because
I think it's more than that. I think it's about making you think you have nobody except for Evelyn, right?
Except for Evelyn, except for Mama Evelyn. All right, and then there's one more thing in this episode is the weird baby shower.
Yeah, the very weird baby shower.
I agree. Baby shower.
Where Laura is like that she feels, community and everything. And I'm thinking, you feel community with these crazy other people that are like you that have been affected by Evelyn and are potentially brainwashed. We don't know yet what's going on, but
no, she does know a few of them were inmates, whoever, with her. And I get that because they're like people who go through trauma together and abuse together are probably bonded forever, right? Like, like, I get why she feels close to them. She has nobody else.
Yeah.
Evelyn's deal is to separate you from everyone you know and only chain you to tall pines, right?
Right.
I kind of get it, but they're very creepy and culty. But can I tell you, look at that. So my best friend in like 1988 had the same chandelier in their kitchen.
I hadn't noticed that, but we had one very similar at our house.
Yeah, the material it's made out of was really popular.
Yeah.
And the only other thing,
not a chandelier.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, there's Rabbit.
Her blaming Rabbit for everything that happened.
Which made me feel like, so that thing about yelling at Rabbit, like, so we know that Rabbit wasn't there. And like, Evelyn still controls you for the rest of your life, right? Like, Evelyn is still like.
Yeah, you get out of there, and yet like she works there now. Like, she can't get away from it.
It's a cult because it's a cult, right?
Exactly.
And the thing is even if this has happened, even as she's yelling at her and blaming her, she's like, oh, you need to know that they know Riley died. Like, she's still trying to help Evelyn through this whole screen death.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So, all right. Next episode starts with the flashback. Yes. And had me more. I didn't get any answers to this episode. Kind of irritated me.
Yeah. Starting with the flashback was weird, and then it goes on to be.
Well, I'm okay with starting with it, but my whole problem with the whole flashback is the entire scene. All those scenes it's an unreliable narrator. I mean, by the end of it, Lila doesn't even know what the truth is.
Yeah, and that was kind of what I was saying earlier. Like, I wasn't 100% sure if Lila actually pushed her or if Evelyn made her think that she did because she
agree.
She didn't do, something she didn't do. It's not.
I completely agree. I think that I think some version of everything that we saw is true, but which version I have no idea. But I think I mean, if just speculating, I think you're right. I don't think she pushed her in. And if she did push her in, I think it was done maybe in a playful way and not malicious, like the last scene that we see.
Or she pushed her in and then immediately tried to save her. She couldn't.
Right. There's that scene too, which I think is maybe closer to the truth.
Or the first scene is real, where she passed out and her sister drowned.
Or that could be, yeah. But the point is, I think every version Evelyn made to be the worst version, so that Lila has nobody but Evelyn, because that's what she does to these kids. She gets her. She wants her to admit that she hated her sister, but I don't think she did hate her sister based on the stuff we saw before she got to Tall Pines. But again, the whole sequence with all these sequences with the flashback were so unreliable. Because, like we see a scene and Evelyn's like, no, dig deeper. Tell me the truth now. And she's like, that is the truth. She's like, no, you know the real truth. Tell me the truth, and it's, and she's drugged, I'm pretty sure, during this whole thing.
Yeah. But it's like it's almost like a forced confession,
Yeah.
like a cop that beats somebody down and goes on so long until they get a confession that's not a real confession at that point.
Right.
It's kind of the same thing. Who is this girl? Because I know that we know her from something, and I can't figure out what it is. I wonder if you guys recognize her. Nope. But yeah, I don't know that we need to necessarily go through each of these scenes, but
no, because we just basically covered it in a whole.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the idea is that her sister talked her into letting her friends into her place of work, and they partied and they got high and they destroyed it. Well, they didn't destroy it, but they caused problems and vandalized it. And she talked her supposedly. If it's like you said, it's not super reliable, but it seems like it was her sister that did it. And that was like, to me, so sad. Like, after this whole thing, like Lila wasn't even the troublemaker. Like, her sister kind of pushed her into it. And that makes it even more sad. Again, not that she's not old enough to make her own decisions. She could have said no, but
and that's the other thing too. Part of the Lila that we see in the beginning of the series is this traumatized girl who is still grieving over the death of her sister, which might be why she's flunking out of school and doing drugs, because her mother is a mess herself and she has no support system because the guidance counselor says, go to Tall Pines.
Yeah.
They're great there.
I mean, her mother is clearly like, so we don't know how long it's been since the sister, Jess, is that her name?
Right.
Since she died.
Yeah, Jess.
And it's clear that her mother is like non-functional from the death of her child, which I get. And that Lila's wildness is a reaction to that, probably, right? One of the things that I thought while I was watching this was like, I don't even get how Evelyn knows any of this to take Lila down this path. And
yeah, I think she's drugging her and making her tell what she sees. And
I mean, I know
that's a lie. That's a lie. But you're right. She has no way of knowing it's a lie.
No.
I mean, I know the Tall Pines the guidance counselor at her school was from Tall Pines, and he probably gave Evelyn information that he knew as the school guidance counselor about that Jess had drowned, that this and that had happened. But why he'd be in a position to know anything that happened at that pool, I think by the end of it, I thought Evelyn was pushing and pushing and pushing. I think it could be a false memory that Evelyn pushes and pushes and pushes until she gets the memory. Until she gets the memory she wants. And what she wants is to separate you from your parents. Her entire thing is that parents are bad for children. And
Evelyn good.
Evelyn good. And she
the only one you can count on.
And I felt like she was like, that's not what happened. Try again. It's almost like a form of torture. And we didn't see Lila get drugged, but we know that the leap, right?
Yeah, I definitely think that they drugged her. But yeah, that's why I said it's like a false confession. That's kind of
I think she pushed her until she got the memory that she wanted, and I think it might be false. I think
it's exactly what you're saying too. Yeah. Absolutely.
Do I really think that she stood there and watched her sister drown and beg in a pool that was, first of all, I'm like, that how pool, like 10 feet tops, whatever, but
he was
they were also high and drunk.
You can drown if you're high and drunk.
You could drown in your bathtub.
Yeah, you
if you're high and drunk.
Do I think there's a part of Lila that was like, oh, God, I hate my sister? Yes, all siblings hate their sibling at some point, right? And even the tiniest of children sometimes wish their sibling was not around, right?
And that's why I said she might have even in anger shoved her, but I feel like even if she did, I think Lila tried to save her if she did.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing too.
The real version.
Like later in the episode, that's whatever. I don't think we can't get the real version because even Lila doesn't know what it is now, because she says to Abby, she's like, "I think I killed my sister," and Abby's like, "You're crazy." Like you were so upset the next day. Like she's like, everything that happened the next day. She's like, there's no way any of that was true.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Lila is falling just like everybody else is susceptible to Evelyn's trickery.
Yeah.
Look, Jess is a total jerk, and Jess like on the first day of Lila's job, Jess is like, let's go raid the bar. Let's be right. But I just felt like Evelyn pushed and pushed until okay.
Yeah.
First of all, I think I know, Jamie, you're an only child, but you understand that all siblings feel that the parents prefer the other one.
Yeah, probably.
Mostly.
Yeah. I assume so.
At least at some point in your life, especially during your adolescence. Maybe when you're 5, and then again when you're a teenager or an adolescent, that you feel that the other one is the favorite. Sometimes the other one is the favorite. Sometimes there truly is a favorite. Often there is truly a favorite. And was Jess the favorite? Maybe. Jess was also the wild one who, I believe a lot of what I saw at the beginning, but when we see in these memories where we see Evelyn sitting on a bar stool in the Greek restaurant, or when we saw her,
I liked how they did that they kept inserting her into the memory. I liked it,
but that's what I felt. It was maybe not a true memory.
Yeah.
I think obviously that's part of it.
So we're parading what we've all agreed on is that none of this is reliable. So let's get to survival school.
Oh yes.
So
I hate that guy.
Basically, you guys we're all involved in the trying to break out. Yeah, the uprising. And if you didn't cause it, you didn't stop it. And I could not understand that they put Stacy in there. Stacy was freaking drugged and tied up. And
yes, I wondered the same. Excuse me. I wondered the same exact thing. I was like, why are they? Yeah.
Or is it just that they the whole thing with blaming the roommate just as much as the other kid? Is it just to punish everybody?
Well,
or maybe
that was
an ulterior motive. We don't know.
That was my initial thought.
Beth is not there, and she was part of it, right?
Yeah.
Well,
but these guys started. This is everybody that was in the hot seat,
except for Stacy. That's so weird. Yeah.
No, Stacy was there. Stacy was in the room.
But she wasn't like who
No.
would believe Stacy was an instigator?
No, and I felt the same way at first. I couldn't figure out why Stacy was there, but then by the end of the episode, I knew exactly why Stacy was.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. They were all in the hot seat room going against Lila when she's like, "It's Riley," and it all broke out.
Yeah,
yeah.
She was.
Okay.
Yeah, she was. These are all the people who were there when they attacked Rabbit, and the whole insurrection started.
Yeah.
But by the end of the episode,
Stacy was sort of like excited by that outbreak of violence.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but Stacy's there for one reason and one reason only that we find out by the end of the episode.
Yes, later, yes, yeah.
Yeah, the Rabbit probably.
Stacy's a plant.
Yeah.
She's a psycho.
Yes, she's a psycho. So I also look, I know that some of these kinds of places did exist, but this episode felt a little unbelievable to me because as a viewer, I'm thinking there are so many ways that this could go wrong and this school would be sued the shit out of. And I get that like they don't care and they're covering things up.
Jamie, this school isn't getting sued at it. They've had how many children die here and they just buried them?
I'm just thinking like in real life, like this would not happen just because they would be liable. Like you don't just throw a kid out in the wilderness with a bottle of water. Like,
but nothing about this school is realistic.
I know.
It's a cult.
Okay, there's an element of this that's realistic in that a lot of these private therapeutic schools that are outside of whatever, there is a bunch of them that are wilderness based. I have a friend who has said her son has gone to several of them, and you spend 3 months in a school that is really more about wilderness skills than about math and science and English. You don't really, but it's more about using a wilderness experience to like deal with your behavioral problems, and that's a real thing among these schools. And I'm not saying they do it like this because, as we've discussed, this is clearly an effort to break down the bonds the kids made the previous episode, right?
Yeah, I guess my point too is that they have no skills, and I don't think that they weren't even watching them. Like if they were like nearby watching everything they did, maybe it would have to me seemed a little more realistic. But I'm just thinking like how many of these kids could die?
These kids have had zero orienteering training or like this. What they're doing right now would be the final test of an actual wilderness school. This would be your final
I think you forget where they are, Jamie. They're in a town where everybody is in on it.
True.
Yes, I know, AJ.
There's no escaping, and they even said that anybody that tries to run, we have people stationed around the perimeter. So
a bear trap.
Like I feel like you forgot what you're watching.
They seemed to just leave them there, and they weren't. Well, I mean, they were supposed to be, but like it seemed very. I don't know, just like we're just.
And if they die, they die. You just bury them.
I mean, they don't really care about the children's welfare, right? They care about growing members of their new cult, is what they're really about, right?
So if somebody doesn't survive, they're not worthy anyway.
But I mean, Jamie is right. There's no reality where you would think that this could end well.
And that's why I was thinking here, like if they all had just agreed that they would all go there together and make it together, even if they agreed when we all get to the end, then we'll fight to win, like they do on like Survivor and stuff. They're all like,
that could never happen.
Then we'll battle it out.
That's gonna happen.
But I just mean like if they
engineer it. It's set up, Jamie. It's set up from the start that can't happen. They give each kid only like a half liter of water to last for 48 hours. They have insufficient, they have no food, like nobody would. God, Jamie, I'm thinking about the next show we're going to talk about, but nobody would go into the mountains of Vermont to spend an overnight and bring no food and only 8 ounces of water. And they've set these children up as a competition for resources so that they could not possibly work together because they're going to fight over the water. I felt like the lack of water was like intentional.
Yeah, no, it's definitely psychological. And they're also the idea that they're saying one person wins and gets to leave. And that you're right. The resources, the whole thing is set up so they fight each other. I'm just saying that I kind of wanted them to be smart and be like, let's work together because they.
You can't be smart. There's no way to be smarter.
What about this show so far that you've seen makes you think?
I expected them to. I said I kind of wanted to see that. I like because they just got done almost overthrowing the place because they work together. And I'm like, you guys just work together. Now you're screwing each other. I don't know.
I get it. You're rooting for these kids, but there's no way to work together over 8 ounces of water, right? Like someone's, or whatever it is, it's 16 ounces, 1 bottle of water for 2 days. There's no way to work together. And there's like really nobody more selfish than a teenager, right? Like they're not able to really, and that pride, they've been so, the prize of getting out of there. You're right. It's totally rigged. There's no way they could possibly work together. The idea that Rory is the one person who's like, let's work together, help me. It's kind of shocking that he can even, except that he's weak and he could never make it on. Rory could never finish on his own, probably. Not just because of the asthma.
He couldn't finish on his own because of the asthma.
But also because he's just not. They were set up. There's no way. I hear you, Jamie. It'd be nice to have seen them carry over that spirit that they had, but it was all broken down the minute they stepped off that bus with no supply.
But I guess I'm just a little like in wanting to root for characters. I was a little disappointed. Like the sense, especially whenever okay, so we get this girl who I don't
Alexandra.
Okay. Who immediately steals their water and everything from them.
Yeah.
Which is that part I think is realistic. But like whenever they found her and she's hurt, like I wanted them, as watching them and rooting for them, I wanted to see the humanity of the kids and be like, kind of like Rory was, we can't just leave her there, and
Abby went hardcore. Abby was Abby's like, fuck her. She punched me in the face. She got what she deserves.
To be fair, Alexandra kind of deserved it. I'm not saying she didn't, she deserved them not to help in a sense.
And to be fair, she fell down a hill and got a broken ankle. She's not bleeding out. She's not having a heart attack. She's not unconscious.
No, she's in the middle of the woods.
She's like, we'll send somebody back to get you. It's not it's not a life-threatening situation for Alexandra.
And not for nothing. The combination not for nothing. The combination of Abby and Rory, of all people, I give Abby a lot more than Rory. They would not have been able to help her anyway. What were they going to do?
Carry her?
Drag her up the rocks?
Yeah.
And maybe make her worse?
Yeah.
But yeah, Rory definitely has more humanity than anybody, but Abby snaps. This whole trip, Abby loses it.
Yeah, and I think that was the whole point of this episode. The whole point, in my opinion, of this episode was to show Abby that she has been taking care of Lila, and that.
Well, you know what though, I disagree with that too, because the stuff we did see that's what they want Abby. Abby's starting to fall for it.
They're trying to push that narrative.
They're pushing. Everyone's pushing that narrative because we have not witnessed Abby taking care of Lila at all.
No, but I think
they're
that
pretty
Lila
equal.
Has been selfish at times.
Yes, Lila can be selfish. Absolutely.
They're trying to show Abby that they want these people to put themselves first. I mean, that's the whole point of the exercise, is for them to fight.
Right. No, I understand that. But, again, we can only go by what we've been shown, and because everything we've been told is 90% lies.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
All right. So I wanted to, even though
we already talked about all the flashbacks, though. You just wanted to show that picture, yeah.
Yeah, it's an awesome picture.
It's a great picture.
Yeah, that is a good picture.
Yeah. So
sorry, did you hear my gut? Did you hear me running my ice machine? Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So yeah,
the fridge is right behind me.
Okay, so we have the fact that
here she is. Well, my ankle. I'm a giant bitch. Now I need your help.
Before that, we have where
Daniel.
Yeah, so Daniel has gone on these, as you were saying, wilderness retreats, and has the skills to.
Oh, he's been to those schools before, right? He says, I've been to these wilderness schools.
Yeah, he somehow caught a rabbit, even though they have no weapons. But he somehow caught a rabbit.
He made a weapon.
He took a stick. He sharpened a stick, but
Yeah.
the question.
On a
Does it-
rock?
Well, yeah, I guess, yeah. I don't know. Could you I guess you could sharpen it.
Absolutely.
All right. Fair
Whatever.
enough. Dude, I would die in 10 minutes out in the wilderness, so I'm not the person to
He says he's been to at least 1 or 2 wilderness schools, and maybe at least they give us the slightest little one sentence to explain that he has a few skills, right?
Yeah.
So
He
thank
knew how to
you.
make fire and how to
Wayward.
catch the rabbit. Which is like you said, if they were in that kind of place, they would have taught them those kind of things before they threw in real life, before they threw them out in a place like that, into the woods. Okay. So yeah.
Hey, did anybody else catch the irony of that scene? This is twice now that Daniel has burned a rabbit.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, first he burned the person rabbit with the chemicals, and now he's cooking a rabbit.
Yeah. Now he's
Oh yeah. A rabbit. Yes, rabbit and then rabbit. Nice.
Yeah. He doesn't like rabbits. But yeah, he was actually the one that helped them. And so they
Which I think is pretty ironic considering they told Alexandra to go screw herself.
I know that. Yeah, well, he helped them, and then they let her suffer. And then the stuff about the pool, we already talked about that.
We already talked about that.
And then the other important part is that Stacy, was it supposed to be that Stacy liked Luncher? Is it supposed to be that Stacy liked Daniel? Because there was that whole weird thing at the beginning of the other episode where she handed him the flower. Do you not remember that?
She handed other people flowers. She went around the whole yard to give Abby a flower. She was mourning after her.
And this is the only reason she's on this trip.
Yeah, Rabbit probably put her there.
Daniel says to her, Stacy, they messed you up with the leap. You're not the same. And right, basically. And she stabs him with a stick, a pointy stick. She must have sharpened it because it that stick doesn't look like it could really
jam into
somebody's. But whatever, she must have sharpened it, and boom, he's out. He's done.
Yeah.
Yep.
She killed him.
So
and then Rabbit shows up and hugs her.
Rabbit saw it. Rabbit watched it and let it happen.
Rabbit put her up to it.
Yeah, yes. I know. That's what I was, because at first I was like, okay, maybe she's like, she understands why she did it. But no, yeah, I think she put her up to it. I think that they.
Oh, absolutely. I gotta say, I was kind of surprised Rabbit didn't do it herself.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. So Rabbit, the grown person who, granted, what Daniel did to her is not right, is wrong. But Rabbit uses Stacy as a weapon, right? She puts Stacy up to it to kill Daniel because she's afraid of Daniel, or because she's having revenge on is it retribution? Is it fear?
It's absolutely revenge.
Yeah, I think revenge.
But she uses Stacy is her knife that she uses to kill Daniel. This is a fucked up scene. Sorry, people. It's a messed up scene.
It is.
And this is going to color everything that Rabbit does for the next rest of the season that I watch this. I got to remember that when Rabbit went to in the previous scene where she's like, "Oh, Evelyn, I'm so sorry." And everyone's like, "Yeah, you suck. You're the loser. You suck." Right. And I'm like, wait a minute. I cannot ever.
I'll show her a loser.
Yeah.
She's a very dangerous and horrible person.
Well, it shows the kind of people that come out of this place. Obviously,
yeah,
not too great.
This is messed up.
It is. So, in the end, Abby does help Rory to get out of there because he can't breathe.
And they lose.
I'm not sure that if he couldn't breathe, that she could have really helped him the way she did. But
the important thing before he starts having his asthma attack, the important thing for that is find out. Marty fucking played them.
Yep.
Yeah, that was great.
Marty, who has seemed like the weakest of the entire operation.
Hey, you don't have to be the strongest to be the smartest.
Yep.
Yeah.
Marty wins.
He ran ahead of them.
Play the victim until you have an opening.
The one that made it to the end, and they're like, "You can go." And I think we've seen this coming. they're just like, you can go, but they're leaving him go in the middle of the woods.
Well, see, here's the thing too. It's like on one hand, Marty's probably the worst person to have won it, because I feel like almost any of the other kids probably could have made their way out of there. However, it's probably good that Marty did win and got back on the bus, because whoever the other, if anybody else had won, I don't think they make it out of the forest alive, because I think they
kill them. Because they can't allow you to get out alive, right?
Exactly. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Right.
I mean, it goes back to, in the very beginning, they said, if you win, you can leave Tall Pines. They never say you can go home. They say you can. They say if you win, you can leave Tall Pines.
Alive.
They just say you can leave Tall Pines. That's all they say. And so poor Marty knows that he can't survive, maybe on his own, to make it out of there, those woods. And that he knows they're gonna kill him. There's no way they let you live, AJ. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's so sad. It's so sad, right?
It's sad.
And abusive and sick.
Yeah. Then we have the stuff with Alex, who was in looking
Ponderosa.
We skipped the Ponderosa part. That guy that was at the cabin or whatever, he said that the company that owned all of these places was owned
Ponderosa.
by Ponderosa, which we see is owned by Evelyn there. And it says that murder in the cult house in a small town. Several bodies were found in the basement around a green door with the word Ponderosa.
And do you remember in the first episode where they saw the door and it just says ponder?
And he's like, pondering?
Ponder?
Yeah. Ponderosa. Yeah. So, that's obviously, and then she sees the picture. Obviously, that's the house.
He sees the picture.
Sorry. Yeah, I forgot it was Alex looking at it.
And then Dwayne enters the room.
Dwayne is the worst. Dwayne is the worst.
Yeah. Dwayne shows Alex the picture of that guy that he visited, Maurice, hanging. And Alex knows that Dwayne killed Maurice, and he's like, I covered up your mess or whatever, cleaned up your mess.
Actually, what he says is, I'm tired of cleaning up your fucking messes.
Yeah, which no one asked him to do, but he clearly did.
Oh, I'm sure Evelyn asked him to do it.
No, I know. I meant that he didn't, but
this means they had a tail on Alex the whole time. They must have followed Alex to this guy's house. We did see. Remember when Alex goes into that guy's house? And Alex looks up and sees the cameras. And I guess maybe Tall Pines had tapped those cameras.
Probably.
And knew that, they knew that Alex showed up. They were like, Alex has been tailed and followed maybe and surveilled this whole time and didn't realize it, right?
Right.
Yep.
Until this moment.
Yeah. And he knows that Alex has bloody hands. All his fingerprints are there. And even if they weren't, they would have planted them anyway. He's basically saying he says something like, Tall Pines is very forgiving. So in other words, you do what we want, we'll hide this. If not, you're going to be accused of murder.
Well, and I think Dwayne says, Evelyn really wants this to work. You and Laura and you belong here, something like that, right?
Yeah, something like that.
It's very creepy and
yeah.
And then we have Laura. He comes and tells Laura what happened, and Laura tells him to shut up because there are listening devices that are hidden around the rooms, and she basically says we got to pretend like we're going along with it. We can't go right now. We'll get out eventually. Yeah. So Laura knows kind of what's going on now. And then we see Laura going out to the water. She is not sleepwalking. She's going out to the water because Alex tells her that her parents came back for her, and she swims underwater and we see a car. Now, I think, and I don't know because of the whole thing with Lila makes me not sure, but I kind of wonder if it's going to end up that she killed her parents and Evelyn hid it. But we don't know. I mean, that's something that we're not going to know.
But that's her parent. That car. Her parents came to get her. We know her parents came to get her. We're never seen again. And now we know her parents' car is down there under the water.
Yeah.
So we know somebody killed them.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
I mean, the idea that Laura did it.
You froze, I think.
No, I froze because
she's thinking. She's thinking.
I gotta
Laura
run to the restroom while you guys talk. Okay.
I mean,
well, we're done talking because you guys got to do your other stuff.
I know.
I mean, what do you run? AJ and I will give you 2 minutes and while we talk about this. AJ, what did you think when you saw this? Go, Jamie, run. Do your
wait,
thing.
I'm trying to turn my thingy on. Where the hell's my picture? It's not working.
Put your avatar on.
It's not working. There we go.
AJ, when you saw this.
So my thought was that Evelyn had them killed.
Me too.
Because she's, as far from what we got from Laura, is that her parents never came back. They left her there. Evelyn's the one that told her that they left them there. So yeah, I mean that's seems pretty cut and dry.
It's Alex who says your parents came back for you and were never seen again. She learns it. And they live in the Ponderosa house. So maybe it kind of makes sense that you would search the pond there for evidence. And yet it also seems a little too on the nose that she goes right in and swims right to the car. Like, does she have some?
Well, I feel like this whole time she's had whatever the leap does. I feel like it's coming back for Laura. Like things are
like we didn't. So Stacy took the leap, and Lila took. Was that the leap that Lila went through? There was just some weirdo.
No, that was just the mirror room.
This is the mirror room. There's drugs involved in both situations. We just don't see the kids being drugged, but I believe that they're drugged. But we know they're drugged for the leap. I think Lila was drugged for the mirror room also, right? Or is it like more of a Clockwork Orange situation with flashing lights and shit that make your brain go crazy? But whatever. At any rate, Laura does kind of swim right to the car.
Yeah.
But I guess if you thought that if you lived, it was 20 years ago and it's right by the pond. I mean, maybe she just knows, like, it's got to be around here. Like, if she killed my parents, she must have killed them right here.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, too. She keeps sleepwalking out to the pond. She keeps going out to the lake. Why is, I think she's thinking, why do I keep coming out here? And that's, it's like she has a memory. It's like, it's for in her instance, it's kind of like you wake up in the morning, you have had a really good dream. You're like, oh, that was so cool. And as the day goes, the dream fades and you get like, oh my God, I wish I could remember that dream. It was such a cool dream. I think that's her waking life.
Yeah.
She has these moments of dreamlike remembrances that don't make any sense to her, but as the pieces are coming together.
So she's like, I keep having this recurring thing. I got to jump in this water and see what's there.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, I think it's more likely that Evelyn killed them than
I do
Laura
too.
killed them, right? I mean,
I hadn't even thought about the fact that Laura killed them.
No, and if Laura killed them, would Laura have killed them before she came to Tall Pines? I could see Evelyn trying to make her forget that she killed her parents before she got there. But for her parents to show up, why would right now if Lila's parents showed up, Evelyn would kill them without Lila ever knowing they showed up, or Abby.
Exactly.
Why would the kids ever know their parents even showed up? Right.
Right.
Yeah.
They wouldn't.
So a little bit of a leap. But I respect Jamie's theory because you never know what could be going on.
Yeah.
But I think that Evelyn or anybody in Tall Pines would kill parents before the kids ever knew. I mean, they kill kids, they kill Daniel, and I guess they're just going to tell his parents whatever, right? So why not kill parent? They kill anyone.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, all right. So next week we will cover the 2 final episodes.
Yep.
Which is 7 and 8, and wrap the show up. And I still believe, from what I've heard, it's one and done. This is the end of it. No second season that I've heard of. We also are gonna. So the Diplomat is back on Thursday, right?
Is that this week?
Yes, the 16th, which is tomorrow, I think, right?
Yes. Well, Thursday.
Thursday, yeah. So Thursday. So I just rewatched season 2 of The Diplomat to get myself all set and ready.
I can't wait.
I can't wait either. I don't know what. I think it's going to drop 1 or 2 episodes and then week by week, right? So we'll cover it on a week.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of Netflix right now.
Why not?
Have you seen the new fucking layout?
Oh yeah.
Awful.
Yeah.
Last week.
The Diplomat season 3. Hang on, I'm looking at what it is.
I was just going to say to add in really quick while you guys are looking up about the
Go ahead.
Diplomat. They kept showing the flashback of her like crying to Evelyn to make it look like maybe she killed him and they covered it up. But it's also possible that Evelyn is trying to make her think she killed her parents, or who knows? Maybe Evelyn brainwashed her into killing her parents. I don't know, but something's going on.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah, and that's the thing with everything we've seen on the show. Any of those thoughts are possibilities. So
yeah, you never know. All right, so AJ, I just looked it up. So before AJ drop, are you going to drop off or are you going to listen?
I'm just going to avatar up.
Okay. So AJ and I are going to pick up The Diplomat. AJ, Jamie, we're going to cover it next week. It's only 6 episodes. All 6 episodes will drop on Thursday. Only 6, yeah. So you want to cover? Shall we cover 222 or 3? I don't know. We'll talk about it, but we will not cover 6.
Hold on. We've got We've got the last 2 of these. We've got episode 9 of Invasion. I would like to. I would like to do 3 and 3, but I think we should probably do 222.
Okay, we'll cover episodes 1 and 2 of Diplomat next week.
And actually, so I mean, we could even do 2-4, 2 next week and then 4 the following week, because the following week we don't have anything except for Invasion.
Okay, so we will for the first.
Watch it that quick. That's my only question. Like for people that are watching, do most people watch? I mean, I know when I've been all once.
6, Jamie, 6 episodes, and we're gonna do 2 next week, and
I guess over 2
the rest
weeks.
of them the following weeks. That's 2 weeks worth of
that's
of
true.
TV,
That's
you know. So yeah, and if they haven't,
don't
listen to us. or they're gonna rush and go watch it because we're talking about it.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
So all right, I'm gonna turn into an avatar. You guys talk your last frontier.
The last frontier. Jamie, do you have any?
I'm not feeling so great.
Tap anything?
Keep doing this. Yeah,
Did you tap it?
I got a couple. Hold on. I got a couple of pictures that downloaded from the press site. I couldn't get the video downloaded.
All right, that's cool.
So why don't you talk about what? Because you obviously didn't like it as much as I did. So what did you think? You watched the first.
Okay,
season,
right? so I watched. There are 2 episodes available right now on. Is it on Netflix? Is that where I watched it? There are 2 episodes available. Apple. It's on Apple TV. It's on Apple TV.
It's on Apple. I'm sorry. Yeah.
By the way, you guys. By the way, can we just stop for a moment and mention that Apple TV Plus has announced they are dropping the Plus and they're going to just be Apple TV. Thank you, Lord, hallelujah, changing your stupid name to Apple TV. So it's on Apple TV. 2 episodes came out. I watched them both. It is, as AJ described it earlier, it's Con Air in Alaska. It kind of is. It's about a plane load full of convicts that crashes in Alaska, and some die, some get loose, have to be caught, and there's a criminal mastermind on board. I just felt like a lot of it was predictable. A lot of it, so this show, the reviews are kind of The reviews are like, if you read reviews in like the Hollywood Reporter, Variety, the New York Times, they're all kind of like, this is like okay, but not great. It's only like 40-some% tomatoes. And yet if you read other kinds of like more internet-y, viral, like not like legacy sites, people are into this show and are watching it a lot.
I liked it. I'm not sure. Trying to remember back what happens in what episode. I don't think you're at the point yet. There's like another element to it that you don't. haven't, and I'm not to put anything
well,
on.
there's this whole CIA thing, right? Where the plane crashes.
Okay, yeah. So
that's from episode 1.
Going on.
There's one prisoner who is like a CIA genius guy, who like they need to capture. Like it was off, whatever. There's this whole conspiracy that they were transporting this one CIA prisoner that nobody knew about because Alfred Wood, who plays a great evil CIA person, was like trying to do some maneuvering, and he gets loose, and he's like, it's a national security risk. Like there's a bunch of horrible, like vicious prisoners on the loose, but they only care about this one guy who has national security secrets, right?
Yeah, the CIA is trying to catch him. Yeah,
I just felt like
I really liked it. I did like binge it, and I know a lot of times it makes a difference. And I know you say it's not meant to be binge, so that's different. But I found it a very like high energy, especially at the beginning. Like a lot is going on. Is it the best written show? Maybe not. It does have, you're right, some things are predictable. And the one thing that did irritate the shit out of me, which I told you, I thought was the first thing you were going to say, because I know even Scarlett complained about it. Like the fact that Havelock was able to like get into the hospital and kidnap his wife in the first place, which with nobody ever checking that he didn't actually have a wound on his eyes at the hospital. Like they didn't even check his, his bandages.
It was so
I have a big problem with. But
yeah.
That I have a big problem with. But if I ignore that, which I did ignore, I don't know. I find the show exciting. Like I said, it's not the perfect writing, but I don't know. I really liked it. There's something about it that I just think was a fun, spy thriller thing going on. And I don't know. I think it's worth a watch, but if you didn't like it by the end of episode 2, you might not like it. Because it's kind of more of the same.
I just felt a lot of what I saw I've seen before. It just seemed not original and a little like, okay, so first of all, the concept where the idea that it's Con Air, but not Con Air, the idea of an entire plane full of convicts that crashes and one guy breaks it down. And in Con Air, which character who's like the genius who breaks it down, right? In this, it's Dominic Cooper, who actually I have a little like from the beginning where he's brought on the plane and he's shackled and has a mask on, and the guy's totally, and yet he manages to like escape and bring the plane down, which is never, how there's like an explain, Jamie, which is not yet described. He has to have had help, right? Like he couldn't have brought that plane down by himself, right?
Yeah, and that's part of what the whole story is about. It's a very, there's a lot of more complication going on. That's all I'll say. I also like the idea of, which I don't know, maybe you have to get into that part. But part of what I also like is like the whole idea of like they're kind of in this small town and they're in the middle of nowhere, and that like kind of the town has to work together, and they kind of figure things. I don't know.
I think they're underplaying that in the beginning. Like, so they crash, like they're outside of Fairbanks, Alaska, someplace very remote where it crashes to the point that they take a chopper to get to the crash site, right? Mm-hmm. It's very remote. And there's a part of the show where everyone in DC is very snotty and dismissive about Alaska and rural Alaska, right? And they're like, they like more town. And I'm like, I don't really think they're grazing cattle, and you can be a bitch about it. Right? Not Alfred Wood. Like, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're kind of going in and out.
Hello.
This is what you're saying.
I'm sorry. I'm in Jersey. My internet is a little. The idea that like
off and just leave the audio on, maybe it'll work better.
Let me turn my video off. Let's see if that helps.
It might help.
That might be. It might not have. And I'm gonna close like a whole bunch of I have some tabs open that I'll close.
Yes,
but they're very dismissive of Alaska, and they call it Cowtown, which like I don't think they really raise cows there, but
You probably don't. Or they'd be frozen
they're
popsicle cows.
they're very dismissive of, and I think what I was looking forward to in this show was the idea of the most forbidding landscape, and the idea that you could be in rural Alaska where if you don't know what you're doing, the landscape and the animals and the idea that people in Washington don't even understand like the added challenge of being in Alaska. And that the CIA woman comes and she's like, "Oh my God, can I get a salad?" It's like, you're in Alaska. Come on, I've been to Alaska. Like, I went to Alaska in June. I had a salad there. First of all, second of all, I wasn't a total bitch to everyone who lived there.
I am sure that somewhere. That part
there is a point in it. Sorry, are you frozen? Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you. Go ahead.
There is a point in episode 2 where the main character, what's his name, Frank, he gives a lecture to her where he's like we chose to be here. Like by the way, every single person owns a gun and knows how to use it, and we have a bunch. He gives her a little lecture about what. I'm sorry. In the first 2 episodes, they're underusing Alaska, except for it being cold. They're under. There you go. There they are. She's a very unlikable character. I think she's supposed to be unlikable, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I just realized part of the picture was cropped off, and it's going to.
Okay, that's the CIA woman whose name she's an actual alcoholic. She drinks, like she goes to her nephew's birthday party and is drinking vodka. She's a drunk. I think she's a drunk.
Yeah.
Not just drinking, but actually drunk at work kind of person, right?
Yeah, she dumps out the pop and dumps in some alcohol into the bottle. Yeah.
Granted, if I had to be with like 35-year-olds, would I want some vodka? Maybe, but I think the point is that she's actually like a functional alcoholic.
At that moment, yeah.
I think we might see her drinking in Alaska on the job also.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, she's kind of a mess because of some of what's gone down in her life.
Maybe. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. Like, is she a mess because of what went down in her life, or did being a mess contribute to what went down in her life? I don't know that yet in episode 2.
Yeah, that's what I said. And that's why I'm saying it becomes a more complicated story, and there's a lot of things going on, which is what I liked about it. But I don't know that that's quite apparent in the first 2 because
that's one of the mysteries. That's fair.
Which maybe is a problem. I don't know. Maybe they don't reveal some of that soon enough, but I don't know.
No.
Like I said, I feel like this is one of those shows where like it's fun. Like I'm not taking it maybe as seriously. Like I looked at it more of just like a fun action. But yeah, I mean, I do see that maybe some of the writing, like certain things were kind of annoying me a little bit, but
I mean, the worst thing definitely is where it was so obvious when this deputy is lying in the snow and he's like, "Oh, I can't see, help me." I'm like, "Oh, you can't see his face. He's definitely, and they have this beardy guy who's running around."
My immediate thought was also Dominic Cooper isn't going to be in it for 5 minutes. So I'm like, he's probably the bad guy. He usually plays the bad guy, although now I'm watching him as Howard Stern. But
do you remember when the plane crashed and they got him up and there was blood all around his eyes, and he's like, I can't see. There's blood all around his eyes, right?
Yeah.
Now he's in the hospital with a perfectly clean, brand spanking new bandage on his eyes.
He must have cleaned himself at some point because, like, none of the nurses looked at it.
Runs out.
Yeah.
When he runs out of the hospital. Do you have that other shot? Do you have the shot of the bandage in the bed later?
Yeah, that's what I have up now is him in the bed with the bandage.
No. When he leaves, later when he leaves and kidnaps the wife, there's a close-up of that bandage lying on the bed, and it's perfectly clean. There's no blood. Yeah, but there's no blood. Like what you and I both noticed is like his body now. Nobody ever at any point looked at his eyes, right? Like he's on site at the crash. I can't see. And now no medics, nobody in the helicopter, no nurse, no doctor ever noticed that his eyes are perfectly okay.
Yeah, they just let him labor and never check them. Yes, and I said that I had a super huge problem with.
Yes.
And I think it's a big problem, but I still enjoyed it. I just kind of had to, that was one of those things I just sort of let go because I did like the rest of the show. But yes, that is one glaringly big, obvious problem. I don't feel like the rest of it was like that. I mean, that was kind of the one big thing that's sort of.
I thought it was very unoriginal that they're like, oh, there's a storm coming and there are criminals around, lock down the school. And the sheriff's kid is like, oh, let's sneak out of class and go, let's sneak out of class. And, that's been in every show since, forever, right? And he kidnaps the sheriff's wife. Yeah. And then he kills the sheriff's wife is also, right? And like everything. And then at the end of episode 2 ends with the cooler that says for Frank. Supposed to believe, like, is it his wife's head? Is it his wife's hand? Is his wife, right? Yeah. I think probably maybe there was something inside it. I don't think, that's a setup, right? But my other thing, Jamie, that I have a problem with is the idea that these prisoners who ran off this plane still alive. There it is. It says for Frank. I don't think there's a head in there or a hand or a body part, right? I think there's probably.
What I was thinking when I watched this isn't that his blood? Because she whacked him with it. So I remember thinking, is that even her blood or is that blood? So yeah.
You're right. She hit him in the head with it. And then the last thing we see, he's got it in his hand and he comes over to, what's his name, Sarah, and he sits down with her. I figured he's going to force Sarah to stitch up his wound. She shot him, right? He's got a wound.
No, she pulled
side.
The gun. I think she, or did she try to shoot
the deer antler? She stabbed him with a deer antler.
Oh yeah.
She stabbed him with a deer antler. And I think maybe he forced her to stitch it up. I think there's something in there that is not, that's a setup, but what's the thing that bothered me about this that I was going towards, that he's kidnapped her? This was a little.
Like I know you had said.
I know the idea that
like the other guy being the main.
What bothered me a little bit is that 18 criminals have escaped and have to be hunted down. I do like the idea a lot that there's this main story going on and also a bunch of 18 criminals have to be caught on the side, right? I like the idea that they could be chasing Havelock, but also be capturing guys on the side. I do like that. But I just cannot believe that any of them have survived sleeping out in, like, as I said in the first episode, Frank says it's 16 degrees tonight. There's no way. And then the next day we see the guy who had both of his arms were prosthetic and he's got a little blanket. And I'm like, don't even tell me that guy spent the night with that tiny blanket in Alaska in the woods and he's alive. Like, if we're gonna have a show that's about how hard it's gonna be to do a criminal investigation in the wilderness of Alaska, let's have to be hard on the survivors also, right?
Yeah. Look, Alaska definitely plays a part, but I don't know if it plays as big as a part as you want it to. It sounds like
I like the part where,
and that's why I'm kind of saying I enjoyed this, but I'm more because I watched it all together. I more looked at it like it's a fun adventure movie and I didn't take it serious. It's like when you watch, to me, and I've said this before, it's like when we watch Marvel movies. I love Marvel movies. Do Marvel movies always make 100% sense and are they the best written?
No.
But they're fun. Yeah. And that's kind of how I looked at this. I enjoyed it as an action-packed, made me want to know what happened next type of show. It wasn't perfect, but I had fun watching it. But yeah, okay. I think that if by the end of the second one, if you're not invested in it, it may not be for you. But there is a lot more going on.
I kind of like the part of the two teenagers in the cabin. I mean, it's a little bit of annoying. It's a very horror movie-ish kind of thing. But the two teenagers in the cabin, I liked when the girlfriend is like, "You're an idiot. Like anybody I know would bring water and food and would not come to a remote cabin in Alaska but you're an idiot."
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. On the other hand, I was like, wait, this kid is born and raised in Alaska. Why is he that stupid? Like, wait, what? Like,
as we usually say, they're dumb teenagers. I can get behind the dumb teenagers.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like a teenager raised on the edge. Like, anyway, I feel like there's a bunch of stuff. I don't dislike these two teenagers. I especially like the girlfriend.
She's a little more thinking about what's going on a little bit more maybe than he is.
Yeah, I like those two. I kind of like the two kids. Like, I mean, the whole British end of the storm, their strandedness is a little weak. Like this. Not that intense, but I like their peril is more interesting to me than the wife. The wife being kidnapped by Havelock is a little too obvious, but these two kids, like with this unconscious guy, is a little more interesting and exciting to me.
Yeah, and you kind of like, it's almost with them, it's kind of like a ticking time bomb because that guy's gonna like wake up and what's going.
He's a prisoner, right?
Yeah. They don't know that. They don't even know that they escaped from the prison. Or not from the prison, from the plane.
Right.
They don't know anything of what happened. And
well,
there is
apparently
talk about the Alaska. There is the one thing that there is in this show dealing with Alaska is there is the idea that like there's not communication. Like it takes forever for to get into communication with people because of like the coal, and there's like different things that go on. Like I don't think there's a phone at the cabin, is there, or whatever? Like they can't get a hold of them or whatever. And they're going down.
No, and also I think didn't Dominic Cooper take out the cell phone tower in the first episode?
Okay, I don't remember. So so like they can't just like call everybody, and there is kind of a lot of like things like that go wrong with because they're in Alaska. And look, I'm not saying in real life in Alaska, I'm sure probably they have cell phones and it's all great, but it does have that element of danger with it being kind of remote. But maybe not.
Well, and this is purposely set in like a more remote community. This is not like in downtown Georgia.
No,
this is
it's
remote, right?
Yeah,
and pretty normal.
Yeah, but I gotta say, like, clearly it's called The Last Frontier because it's in Alaska, and I guess Alaska, I think, is actually called The Last Frontier. Maybe
that's what it's called. Yeah,
but I don't know how you feel. Like, I feel like they really should have named it something else because that does not to me represent this show. Like, I don't know. It just the title to me doesn't necessarily match the show.
Yeah, it reminds me more
that this is what that was by that title. Like I expected something completely different. I don't know.
I did like there was a part in the first episode where Frank says, "Listen, this is how far north they are." Frank says, "If we don't catch these guys in the next like week, he says we only have like 6 more days of light, and if we don't catch them, we're gonna be looking for them in the dark." And that makes it
aware that in Alaska they have 6 months or whatever of.
Well, that's not all of Alaska. That's just the most northernmost part of Alaska.
Okay.
Has darkness like a lot. I don't know how far north Fairbanks is pretty far north, and they're outside of Fairbanks. Like that doesn't happen to you in like Juneau or whatever, which is not all of Alaska is like that. But I kind of like that. I don't know if that's going to happen, but. I kind of like the idea of a manhunt in a really rugged landscape. And you have genius criminals, but it gives the Alaska Marshals an advantage because they know how to live in that environment, right?
Yeah, which the CIA clearly hasn't understood yet. I do like that they have the background of getting the other criminal going on. Yeah, I think that I like that about it because it kind of has like more, it has the individual stories going on of them capturing each of them, but like that's not, it still has the overall, it's kind of got both going on at once. I'm just being careful what I'm saying details because I'm sorry, I can't remember which was which episode and I don't want to say something accidentally. I didn't know how deep we were going to go into it.
I felt like the first two had a whole bunch of things that I've seen before and weren't that original. But I do like Dominic Cooper now. He plays this like super genius. I mean, actually, Jamie, to me, maybe the least believable part of this whole show is that who's the CIA girl? I forget her name. The girl, the young woman agent who recruited Sid. Yes.
Yeah.
Early on, Sid says like, "I found him. I trained him to be like a gene, to be brute." Like she says that she trained him to be who he is. But he appears to be light years ahead of her in terms of like his intelligence, his commitment. Like, I don't buy her as his mentor. I buy her as his student more. Like if they said that she was the student trying to catch the master, but the idea that she's like, I trained him, I made him, I created him, now I gotta find him, and I'm like, wow, he's way ahead of you. Like, sister, you're right.
Yeah, I think she's faster in certain ways, but
of course, everything she says is 100% law. You can't believe one word she says.
I don't know if they explained. I'm not sure how much they explained, like who he is, because a lot of
in episode
2 is like kind of the shrouded mystery at the beginning. That's why I'm being careful, like what I say.
So in episode 2, Jamie, episode 2, we saw a flashback where he is a university professor, and she comes to hear his lecture. And she tries to recruit him to work for her fake company. He's like, "Oh, you're totally the CIA. Shut up. I can't talk to you." And she recruits him she's like, "I found my guy," and she's going to recruit him to be her person. So he is set up as a great academic in that second episode that she's on. Being a killer and a vicious, like, and an ideologue has not been set up yet, but
and I don't know, and I kind of wondered, like, I don't know, I definitely got the sense of like, is everything what we think it is? Because it kind of surprises me, like these other guys seem really vicious, but he doesn't as much, at least at the beginning. I'm not saying whether that changes or not. Like he definitely does not like seem and fit in with the other inmates, because there's a lot more.
Yeah, those are all like vicious killers.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like he's supposed to be like the worst guy, right? Like that's what they're trying to pull it off of, is like he was the worst person, and that he's so dangerous. They had him like all chained up and everything. And a lot of it's to do with, the CIA stuff. And I don't know. I found a lot of that kind of spy thriller stuff kind of interesting. And
kind of cool. But he's dangerous because of his intelligence, not because of his like brutality.
Right.
But that reminds me of, how in the whole first episode, there's this one guy who escaped, and you're supposed to think he's Havelock, but he's totally not. He's not.
Yeah,
right?
I thought that. That one might actually be Havelock. I thought
this is Havelock. That is actually Havelock. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I had a picture of the one that wasn't. But yes, I do agree with that. I was pretty much like, when they showed him running, that's so not him. Because also I was like, that's not Dominic Cooper either. Was like, that's.
Well, yeah. And then I didn't really buy that a bunch of sled dogs would rip his throat out. Like that whole. Right. Like, okay, sled dogs, they're not pets. They're kept outdoors. But I do think that they are not attack dogs, and that they are habituated people. The idea that those dogs ripped his throat out was a little surprising to me. Great. But he's in the back. I'm looking more forward to the whole part in DC where Alfred Woodard has the worst idea maybe in the history of the CIA, and I hope it's going to come around to kick her in the ass, right?
Yeah.
It's a terrible idea. She's really mean. Like, she's a really mean CIA boss. I wouldn't want to work for her.
Yeah. And they're kind of like, question too, like they're leaving it up to the agent that doesn't seem to be doing a great job. I mean, she's like we said, drunk on the job, and like they're sending her, like leaving it up to her to take care of it.
And they like
this not going to go well, like you said.
They shamed her and disqualified her and set her up for failure. And they're like, oh, she's the only one who can get them. Like, what?
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
what?
she's the one who has to do it. And you know that I don't think that they intend for her to succeed. I definitely think that they.
But that redemption story is typical in these kind of shows, right? Like she has a redemption mission. She underestimates everyone around her. Frank is probably like there's a bunch of stereotypes going on here. Doesn't mean it can't be a fun show to watch. I'm just saying there's a lot of like, there's a reason why we keep revisiting these same stories because people like them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do. I don't know. I think that if you like this kind of show, I think you'll like it a lot. If you don't like if you've watched it so far and it doesn't like pique your interest at all, you might not. But yeah, I don't know. I just really liked it a lot. You know I did because I kept telling you guys to watch it. I watched it all.
I mean, I'll give it another episode because maybe I'll be like, woo. You never know.
I did put up the interview with the showrunners up too on our YouTube.
That's cool.
I like you. See, you said you don't like the ironic music. I like the ironic music that they have.
I hate that the most. I really hated in the opening scenes. The plane is crashing and they're playing Unchained Melody, right? As the plane is crashing. And then people are like, it's in slow motion, it's Unchained Melody. I hate ironic use of modern music. God, I hate it. Like, just hire somebody.
Well, I like the ironic music. Even if it irritated you, I like the ironic music. Yeah, what's the name of these? Because I think the one that I'm thinking that has the song that's a crazy song, I think is the third episode. I think it's.
I mean, it was all like modern music or popular music, and most of it they might have paid for. Like I think actually, I don't know if it was a cover. Sometimes it's even worse when they have covers of it, right? It was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But yeah,
I just remember liking it. And the next one's got kind of a crazy weird song at the beginning. I had not heard. I don't know if it's a popular song or not.
I don't mind popular music. I hate ironic uses. So anyway, all right. Well,
yes. Wow, that's
I
fine.
guess
yeah.
All right.
We'll see. If you want to keep watching it, see if you like it. If you don't, that's okay too. If you keep watching it, I'll talk about it more next week. I'll get out what episode. I just didn't know how much of it you were going to watch until like today, and I didn't get notes done and was afraid I'd go too far. So I just been kind of careful.
Okay. All right. We'll think about it next week. I'll talk about it for next week. All right. So in the meantime, next week we have episode 9 of Invasion.
First on Sunday at 11:30 p.m. Eastern, we have our Daryl Dixon show. So everybody, please make sure you join us, and of course our
or 10 o'clock watch party on Discord.
Yes, all for Daryl Dixon, and that is the season finale. I think next week, isn't it? Isn't this one the season finale? Yeah.
There's only 7 episodes. Is it the season finale? Yeah. Is it?
Yeah. There's so few episodes. Yeah, this is the season finale. So that's on Sunday. And we're going to be probably adding some shows soon. We've been discussing sort of what we're going to do. So just make sure you always.
And that's a fun show. That's a fun. We have a lot of good chatters. That's a fun show.
Yeah. It's a fun live stream. So make sure you join us. And then other than that, we'll be back Tuesday at 10 again for the next Invasion and the end of Wayward and maybe some more of this and and some more stuff coming soon. Like I said,
the diplomat.
You guys are going to talk about the diplomat. Yeah. So stay tuned. And if you haven't, like I had said, I was going to the interview with Robert Patrick for Tulsa King and X-Files, because we talked about X-Files. That is also up in our video tab. So make sure you check out our interviews and everything. And please like this video, hype it if you can, subscribe to the SciFi Vision.
Right.
We appreciate it. And we'll see you at the next one.
All right. Good night,
kids. Everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.